choose wisely.
And we have some breaking news out of Virginia, where police say a 6-year-old is in custody after a shooting at an elementary school in Newport News. You heard that right. He's 6 years old. Authorities say a first grader shot their teacher and that they believe the shooting was intentional. The teacher is expected to survive and no children were hurt. Police are now working to figure out how that child got that gun.
Your big ass up, I'm a bitch, boy. Stop. Stop.
Their main diagnosis.
And what's your badge number?
7452.
And what's your name?
Officer Brooks.
What's your first name?
I'm not going to give you my first name.
Okay, and I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, like I explained to him, if you don't sign it, then you're going to be physically taken to jail.
Gotcha.
Fire for your mind. Emotion clinician.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no face, don't need no phonies, no. Need no snakes, no only homies down for show. On go. Get a book and get the front and we load up and roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a winner. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock hard waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with take girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my. I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car cards to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me, you matter what. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Swipe. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Swerving, making plays, Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Ballpoint on the beat, ballpoint make them dance. We came up from nothing, now we're making plans. Just picked up some bands, Tell her, ask it questions, why I come and grind. On the run like a runaway. Only way is the money way. New chain, no jewelry. No games, don't fool me. 21, been a boss. Take the game, pay the cost. Heard you rolling TikTok. Need to get another watch. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Tell them run it up. I wake up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send the invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell them run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet, tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet, tell them run it up. No sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch, tell them run it up. Like I work in finance. God bless, no, this not by chance. Don't dab me, you're not my man. Don't at me, you're not my man. Mama said don't buy it if you cannot buy it twice. I cop by the tools and I don't pump fake with the price. Always on the grind, I put in work with all my might. I know that he got me, not by sight. I skirt like Danny's, I slide I Landis, Vito Benji, all black like Daisy. Fit 4 days, that's for sure though. Grinding from the grip, no shame, take a photo. Time to take a trip, we head north to the border. Say you feeling up, I'm my favorite type of hoarder. I got keep.
We are about to start in a minute, and we're going to have a fiery show on today as I drop some fire for your mind. Get your pens and paper ready, guys, because the American government is laughing all the way to the bank because so many people's development has been arrested. It's been arrested because we don't have enough fathers. Let's do it. All right, guys. We're about to start. Give me 1 minute, and I apologize. Let me get this thing together. And we're going to get right into it, guys. All right, so I'm going to do a show. The show that I'm doing on today, guys, is talking about arrested development. And arrested development more or less talks about has the arrested development of so many young people, especially young black men and women, caused a lot of the issues that we're having here in America. And I don't know if you guys heard about it recently. Here recently, a young man, actually, 6-year-old child, took the life or shot a teacher. And see, this is what happens when you don't have a consistent community of fathers. You don't have a consistent community of men. You don't have women choosing the right men to help lead and guide their children in the right direction. And that's the problem that we're having now. There's not enough parental guidance. There's not enough values that are more or less synonymous to what we had in the past. And that's why a 6-year-old can take a gun and go shoot somebody. That's why some of these young boys can cuss teachers out and tell them to shut the F up, because I went through it myself. And that's why some of these women don't respect authority, because their development has been arrested. And see, when your development is arrested, then you will get arrested or become arrested, because see, the law don't care about your skin color. The law don't care about your mama being black. The law only cares about the law. And, I'm going to have a brother Ingram on today at some point. He was in law enforcement. We're going to break this thing down. I was in law enforcement at one time as well, because I did go to school for law enforcement. I went to school to be a cop, but I'm a therapist now. And I also taught school. So I've done it all. Teacher, therapist, and also worked in law enforcement, working with at-risk kids. And you can't have a more perfect union, guys, when you are dealing with the lack of respect and the lack of structure and the lack of order. Children are at their best when they have structure and when they have order. But when kids don't have structure and order, many times they're left to their own devices. They're left to their own devices because they don't have structure and order. And I want to share something with you guys. Being a licensed therapist, we talk about something called protective factors and risk factors. Some of this stuff you're seeing, and I'm going to prove my point when you listen to it. This woman at one time called on her father. She called on her mom, though. And a lot of times they call on their moms, because, they see mom as the matriarchal figure. And because we don't honor and respect our men enough. Honor thy father and thy mother. Not honor thy mother and thy father. It's honor the father. First command is the first fruit. But we don't have that consistency anymore, guys, because there is no community. So when there is no community, the development of people become arrested. And what you're seeing now is the arrested development of so many. And so many guys are also locked up in their psychosocial stage of development because they have not learned how to overcome the trauma that they've had. Also, in the black community, we don't value therapeutic treatment because many times we don't understand it. And sadly, sometimes we've had bad experiences with clinicians to the point folks don't want to go to therapy. And it is what it is. But what I do know, what I do understand is that mental health reform or mental health resolve is necessary. Some of this stuff is mental illness, but some of it also is rebellion and negative socialization. And some of it is spiritual. Anytime a 6-year-old child goes to a school and shoot his teacher, something is wrong with that family and something is wrong with that community. Anytime these young boys cuss out grown men and challenge their manhood, something is wrong. Anytime when masculine cops, and these guys that pulled this woman over were black guys, challenge or more or less try to give guidance, and women, and sometimes these millennials, they fight it. It's the spirit of lawlessness. The spirit of lawlessness does not respect order. The spirit of lawlessness does not respect the patriarchal or the patriarchal order, which is father, children, women, and children. And then man being under Christ and God, if you believe in theology. But even if you don't believe in theology, there's an order to things. And that's why women sometimes, some of these kids, and sometimes these men as well, they'll challenge the authorities. The cop tell them to pull over. They'll say, well, what's your badge number, your ID? And you're going to see from this conversation, guys, this man gave them a fair chance to get it right. So we're going to get deep into it. I'm going to have my man Peaceful Life on at some point. And guys, do me a favor. If you have not donated to the channel, please donate. If you don't have anything to share, share the stream, please. So let me text Peaceful Life real quick. Hold tight. Check your email. And so, guys, it's been a while. I haven't seen you brothers and sisters in a while. I've been very busy trying to focus mostly on, growing this year as a therapist. And the content creation will take care of itself in time, but I'm not going to focus as much on that because this stuff is too time consuming. And if I'm not going to get the output and the yield that I want, I'm not going to waste my time intensely doing a lot of content. But I am grateful for the people that always show love. The brothers and sisters have continually shown love. And because of you brothers and sisters, I'm forever grateful. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about this 6-year-old that, shot his teacher. And this stuff is happening all too often. And we're going to talk about how the breakdown of the nuclear family is playing a role in this current epidemic that we're now seeing. So hold tight, guys. Let me replay this clip again. And you guys tell me what you think. Hold tight.
And we have some breaking news out of Virginia, where police say a 6-year-old is in custody after a shooting at an elementary school in Newport News. You heard that right. He's 6 years old. Authorities say a first grader shot their teacher and that they believe the shooting was intentional. The teacher is expected to survive and no children were hurt. Police are now working to figure out how that child got that gun.
I'm your big ass. I'm a bitch, boy. Stop. 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 I said stop. Keep the fuck out of me, boy.
The main diagnosis.
And what's your badge number?
7452.
And what's your name?
Officer Brooks.
What's your first name?
I'm not going to give you my first name.
Okay. And I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, like I explained to him, if you don't sign it, then you're going to be physically taken to jail.
Gotcha.
And that's a problem, guys. This woman challenged the authority of an officer after that officer gave her direct instruction and gave her a direct order. It's a spirit of lawlessness where people will challenge the authorities because they are not used to seeing men in control, and they're not used to seeing men in instruction, seeing men in power. And many times these boys, and you're going to listen to this young boy, they always say what I said before in the past. We are creating a generation of broken men, broken boys, broken women that have made bad choices with bad men, a small percentage of the men causing chaos, and they create spawns like this. When you tell them what to do, they'll say, oh, my grandmama. And many times, because they got the spirit of Raekwon, Shermite, and Day Day, they'll also say, oh, my mama.
Yeah, we can't balls on my mom. They be balls. Kill some of my mom, bro. They back me look like
That's on my monkey. That's on my monkey. That's on my monkey.
Yeah, on my mama, that's what they say, ignorant. On my grandmama. And I know sometimes some people say on my mama, they don't necessarily mean nothing by it. But it basically is an emotional response, guys. It's an emotional response where they minimize the importance of masculinity and they act emotional just like their mama. And when they say on their mama, sometimes they will delete you based on their mama. Imagine if a man say on my daddy, on my father, I promise you, I'm going to make things change. But there is no instructions from fathers anymore. You don't see fathers in the home anymore. And see, what happens a lot of times, we tend to equivocate all black men as being part of the problem when it's a percentage of dusty, ignorant black men that's causing this chaos in the black community or whatever community we have, because it is no community anymore. It's dead. And it won't be back alive now from generations to come. And what you're seeing now, over 80% of kids are being born in single-parent homes without fathers. These children are dysfunctional because as a therapist, we talk about what's called risk factors and protective factors. Protective factors play a role in the evolution of a child. Let me show you guys something real quick. And do me a favor, guys. Donate to the channel and also share the stream. Shout out to the brotherhood. Shout out to the brothers. Donate to the stream and share the content, please, if you don't have any money to donate. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick. And you guys are about to see what I'm talking about. This happened in, I don't know, I think it was in Virginia. So hold tight.
Since the invention of the blow dryer, technology is revolutionizing.
This is outside of Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport News, Virginia, where a 6-year-old student shot and wounded a Virginia teacher during an altercation inside a first-grade classroom. That's according to police and school officials there in the city of Newport News. No students were injured in the shooting. The teacher, a woman in her 30s, suffered life-threatening injuries. Newport News Police Chief Steve Drew told reporters that her condition had improved somewhat by late afternoon. Police said the child had a handgun in the classroom and that they took that student into custody. Parents and students were reunited at a gymnasium door, according to Newport News Public Schools. There you see law enforcement on the scene. Earlier this afternoon, you saw so many police, onlookers, bystanders, parents, family members there beyond that yellow police tape, waiting to be reunited with their loved ones and their children. Newport News is a city of about 185,000 people in southeastern Virginia, known for its shipyard, which builds the nation's aircraft carriers and other U.S. Navy vessels. Rich Neck Elementary has about 550 students. It's a K-5 institution. That's according to the...
And think about it, guys. Never in a million years will we have thought that a child would be complicit in the shooting of or the shooting of their own teacher. This is the world that we live in. This is what happens when you have liberal policies. This is what happens when you have homes without men. This is what happens when you don't have structure and order. When you don't have structure and order, you have what's called chaos. Because lawlessness is in the land, guys. Lawlessness is in the land. And lawlessness disresolves and disrespects. Not only does it disrespect masculinity, it disrespects order, whether it be from cops or whether it be from anybody. This is going to be a good one, guys, on tonight. Get the likes up for me and share the stream, and also donate to the channel if you have not donated. But that's what happens, guys, when you have lawlessness in the land. When there's lawlessness in the land, that many times is a sign of arrested development. And see, this is dear to my heart, guys, because as I told you guys earlier, I worked in law enforcement for 7 years. I did 7 years with the Department of Juvenile Justice. Many of these kids that you see come from broken homes. They don't have fathers. Many of these kids that you see have what's called behavior emotional disability. Many of them have personality disorders. And personality disorders, guys, normally is a byproduct of not having, being neglected. And so they develop an alter ego in order to protect themselves. No different than people that have narcissistic personality disorders. And this is what you're seeing, and that's what you're seeing now. A generation of violence, a generation of lawlessness. I've never seen it like this before in my life. And I would say that Gen X is the last generation that saw balance. I'm from Gen X. Gen X was a little balance between old school and new school, but that was the last generation where things were fairly normal. But this stuff that you're seeing now is crazy. And some of it is unresolved mental illness. Not all of it, but some of it is. Some of it is genetic predisposition. And because of the lack of understanding the therapeutic process, because the lack of respecting order, their development becomes arrested. And this is arrested development that actually leads to people becoming arrested in the end because their development has been arrested. Let me finish playing this, guys, and then we're going to chop it up. Hold tight. And shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland, man. Gregory Scotland's always showing love, man. Gregory Scotland always showing love. One of the few brothers, always consistent. And without him, man, I probably won't be doing these streams because he makes it worth my time to do these shows. But shout out to my man, Gregory Scotland. I appreciate it, brother Gregory Scotland. He said, yes, arrested development, especially when we see single black mothers celebrated over the married ones and studious black men downplayed and losers honored. Passport bros and SYSBM don't like that setting. And I agree with you 1,000%, Barry Hamilton. And Barry Hamilton, not Barry Hamilton, and also Gregory Scotland, because of your kindness and your time in donating to this channel, Gregory Scotland. Sir, you are the #1 sponsor of this stream. Thank you. right, so let's finish playing it. Thank you, Gregory Scotland, for the love offering, brother. I appreciate it. Always showing love. Thank you, Gregory Scotland.
The Virginia Department of Education's website, school officials have already said there will be no classes on Monday after the weekend. So this is overhead earlier this afternoon, where police said and school officials said a 6-year-old in a first grade classroom shot and gravely injured his teacher, a female in her 30s. The 6-year-old was taken into custody. Right now, let's listen in to some of these law enforcement officials, city officials, and school officials. Police held a press conference earlier tonight. Let's watch.
I'll sort of keep my comments brief. Newport News is it's a community. We are going to succeed or we're going to fail together. Today, I could not be prouder of our public servants who were here very, very quickly. The outer cordon, inner cordon were established. Can I be more proud of the police force, the sheriff, the entire fire department, my colleagues that stand behind us, the superintendent, the school board, our delegates that are here. Newport News is a strong community, and we are always going to be together. It hurts my heart. After this, I'm going to go to the hospital and talk to the family and spend the night there. But it's a dark day for Newport News. We're going to learn from this, and we're going to come back stronger. So I'll take some questions at this time.
This is the youngest we've seen in a very long time.
Yes. So right now it's still raw right now, but I will tell you is there's going to be a full after action, not only from internally of a city council, but school board and others, but we are going to ensure that we have the right steps and policies so this doesn't happen again.
Mayor, do you?
What I really say is today our students got a lesson in gun violence and what guns can do to disrupt not only an educational environment, but also a family, a community.
And this is what the pun is going to say, guys. The same old BS talking points. Guns don't cause chaos. It's human behavior that causes chaos. I can go back, guys, and I can remember in time when I was younger, we would take guns to school. They had guns on the back of pickup trucks. And you never had any incidents of violence. But now, because you don't have fathers in the homes, you have a world that's devoid of morality and truth. Now people, they'll take folks' lives and they don't think nothing of it. Because the preachers now, a lot of them, not all of them, are garbage. Most folks can't see the difference between the world and some of the so-called Christians. And we just don't have any strong foundations like we had in the past. There was a time in the black community where people would not do self-deletion. But now they do complete self-deletion and don't think nothing of it. Black male self-deletion is at an all-time high now. But it wasn't like that in the past when I was growing up. You rarely heard of black folks deleting themselves. But now it happens a lot because the communities are so fractured and the communities are so broken. And that's a problem. And that's a serious problem. Hold tight. Let's finish listening to it, guys. Hold on.
And I reiterate what the mayor said, that Newport News is a very proud community. We pride ourselves in working diligently to provide a safe learning environment for all students. The efforts we saw today by our faculty were admirable. And the response that it took to get our kids, make sure our kids were safe, make sure our parents were reunified with the students in as timely as we could make it. We don't plan for these incidents, but we do plan to have plans to make sure our schools are safe. We need the community support, continued support, to make sure that guns are not available to youth. And I'm sounding like a broken record today because I continue to reiterate that we need to keep the guns out of the hands of our young people. This is evidence today that these are the things that happen when we have access to weapons. I cannot control access to weapons.
But how can a child get access to weapons if they have a strong family and a strong community? You go to other countries, they don't have the issues that we have, and they have guns all the time. But see, most liberal policies, they use guns as a convenient excuse to license and police people, man. And it's unfortunate, to say the least. We need to have strong families and strong communities, but it's not going to happen in our lifetime. It's going to take generations for this mess to get back right. And to you young men who have done the right thing, you will be a fool to give your hard-earned time, your hard-earned money, trying to serve and trying to do something that is beyond your scope of practice and beyond your scope of means. You will be a fool to do so. You got to focus on yourself and you got to let it burn down, sadly. Shout out to my man Top Gun, showing love. Top Gun said, in regards to this topic, the movie Lean On Me is accurate, representation of the inner cities. This happened in my hometown in around 2000, Nate, Brazil. No doubt. Shout out Top Gun. I appreciate it. Good to see you, brother, and thank you for always showing love. I appreciate it, I'm brother Top Gun. So Caesar, why is he talking about guns, though? Forget the gun. How did the kid even get a hold of that? Right. And once again, it has nothing to do with the tool itself. It's a tool of the mind. That's why people need to have some fire for their minds, because the minds is messed up. The mind needs to be recalibrated. And that's why they need this.
Fire for your mind. Clinician.
Fire for the mind. And I'm the one to get them that fire that they need. But trauma plays a negative role in the neural development of a child, but also the lack of parenting. And see, guys, this is what happens when you have a culture of a whoredom, where you have a culture of the lack of respect in male leadership. The kids go astray. And this is what you're seeing now. You're seeing a generation of kids going astray because we don't have any more strong communities. But once again, liberal politicians always want to blame guns as the problem, instead of looking at morality and looking at the underlying issue that's causing these kids to do the things that they're doing.
My teachers cannot control access to weapons. What we have to do is we have to make sure that that is also a clear message that comes out of a situation of this nature. We do respond to whatever we have come on campus, but again, it comes on campus because of access in the community, and we need and this is not a Newport News problem. It's a bigger and broader problem than what we're seeing today.
Okay, so you were listening.
Shout out to my man Barry Hamilton for that $7 cash app. I appreciate it. Barry Hamilton showing love. Thank you, sir. Always showing love and kindness. I appreciate it, Barry Hamilton. And also shout out to MC Recovery and Wellness for that $5 cash app as well. I appreciate it, brothers. Thank you.
It's the money.
Also, shout out to my man Michael Green showing love. Michael Green, thank you, sir, for your $5 cash out, man. I appreciate it, brother. You guys showing love. I'm going to bring my man Ingram Experience in a minute, a former police officer. I myself was in law enforcement. I taught school. I did law enforcement. I did the whole gamut. But guys, y'all about to see something, and you're about to see why the black community is in shambles and why men need to save themselves. Because from a sociological perspective, when you're trying to integrate and change systems, systems cannot change overnight. It takes time for systems to change. So when you hear people talking about save your community and all this goofy stuff, it sounds good in theory. But in reality, it does not work that way. It takes years to change that. And according to the current trajectory that we have now with these liberal policies in schools, the cancel culture, it's not going to change. It's not going to change, guys. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not going to get any better anytime sooner. Harold Melvin, the Blue Note, said it back in the past, back in the 70s. Harold Melvin, the Blue Note, said, world don't get no better. They say if you can't change the world, just let it be. That's why Harold Melvin and the Blue Note said. They said that back in the 70s. And they said that at a time where over literally around 26 to 29% of children were being born in single-parent homes. That was an epidemic back in the 70s. But now damn near 80% of children are being born in single-parent homes by a small percentage of trifling, irresponsible men that these women let use their bodies, and they're causing the chaos that we're seeing now. And what we do, we tend to overgeneralize, which is a thinking error, and we equivocate all black men for the small percentage of men that's causing the chaos. But they want you to come back, and be the cleanup man. They want you to be in a house where, that kid might tell you shut the F up. They want you to be in a house if she got daughters, well, her daughter might accuse you of touching her. And that's why I tell you, men, shout out to Mr. Palmer, you got to change the law in your mind. Changing the law in your mind is the great eradicator that will help you become the better version of yourself. I'm going to show you guys once again, show you guys this video. And this is part of the chaos that we're having now, guys. And this is in a school in Chicago. Hold tight. And God, this is what happens many times in the inner cities of Chicago. This is what happens many times in the inner cities of Chicago. You get Daquan and Raekwon and Madman, and they're not used to structure and order. I went through it when I was in reform school. I did 7 years with the Department of Juvenile Justice working with adjudicated youth. Adjudicated means they have been accosted by the states and they've been held responsible for their behaviors, and now they're in like juvenile prison. They were sex offenders, they were gang members, and they were violent criminals. And the greatest predictor of these kids is that when it came down to recidivism, they were born into single-parent homes. They didn't have fathers. Fathers set structure. Fathers set order. Fathers set balance. But having a father in the home is not always a guarantee that a child won't go astray. You got to have a masculine man that was raised by masculine men and with a community of masculine men having structure and order. But you don't have that anymore. You don't have it anymore. And that's why you continue to have the chaos that you're having now. A lot of these boys just need structure and order. I'm going to tell you guys about a story that I had one time. One of these cats, he was a blood. And he challenged me when I was in the alternative school. So I told him to go to class, and he said, who are you talking to? You know, I had a kosher moment, you know. I'm talking to you. That's who I'm talking to. And so the kid proceeds to get into my face, and I got him by his shirt, slung him to the ground, and I put my knee in his neck. And I say, I'm the chief. You just a brave. I said, you effing with the wrong one. And ever since then, I never had no more problems with him. I actually saw him in my hometown one time in the neighborhood up here in the Tar Heel State. I saw him, I dapped him up, and we went on about our business. Because a lot of the times these boys need structure and they need orders. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. Many times these kids, when they do come up from the system, many times they go right back into an environment where the behaviors that we try to change is behavior specialists and also youth tech. They go back and commit the same behaviors again. They don't change the behaviors because the environment has not changed. That's why I told you guys, unless he builds the house, the labor is built in vain. I'm going to say it again. Unless God builds the house, the labor is built in vain. And that's why so many men have such an aversion towards religion. And I understand why guys have such a strong aversion towards religion. Because sadly, many of them are charlatans. They're not real or true men of faith. And so guys get frustrated. They get frustrated with religion. They get frustrated with the shenanigans. They don't see any difference between, sadly, sometimes people in faith versus those in the world. And it's not all, but sometimes they do see it. They see it more often than not. And black men and men in general like structure and order. Men like structure. Men like men that are real and genuine. And it's hard to find, man. It's hard to find. So the house is being built in vain until you have masculine men in that house bringing structure, order, and discipline. And that's the major problem. Let's get back to the clip, guys, real fast. Hold tight.
My name is Dr. Anthony Chalmers. I'm the principal here at Montefiore Therapeutic Day School. We are the only...
Guys, hold tight. I just got the #1 sponsor of this stream. Shout out to my man, Ray Johnson. Ray Johnson, man. Ray Johnson always showing love. And Ray Johnson, because you always come through, Ray Johnson, because you're so kind, Ray Johnson. I love and respect you, brother. Ray Johnson is the #1 sponsor of this stream. Shout out to Ray Johnson, guys. Ray Johnson is the #1 sponsor of the stream. Shout out to my man Brandon Jett, and that's a deal, right? Shout out to my man Brandon Jett. I appreciate Brandon Jett. I hope it's still love. Right. Thank you for that. That love, Marvin. Thank you, Brandon Jett. Thank you, sir. And also shout out to my man Drew for the 2. I appreciate it, brother Drew. Thank you, sir. And thank you once again for Ray Johnson. There's some static, guys, in my system. I got to figure out what's going on. But there's some static. But let's get back to the clip, guys. Thank you.
Therapeutic school in the Chicago public school system.
Hey, cut it out. Hey, come here. I told you about playing with me, man. Come on back here.
What you mean? What you mean, though, bro? What you mean? I got your big ass out for playing like I'm a bitch, boy. Stop. Stop.
Once again, guys, the lack of authority and the lack of fathers is causing the issues that you're seeing with this young man. Violent, because they don't respect themselves. They don't even love themselves. The only thing they know is chaos. And I saw all too often when I was in reform school.
Their main diagnosis is emotionally behavior disturbed.
You walk in my face, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, boy.
And then a lot of it is just aggression.
Don't worry about it, man.
Keep talking stuff and come over there and knock your ass up. Stop playing with me, boy.
They're just out of control, you know, because I guess the home situation that we don't have.
And that's what's happened, guys, when you don't have fathers consistently. And this is not a black problem per se. We tend to have it more in the inner cities, but this is an American issue. White kids go through the same issue, you just don't hear about it. It's a different brand in a different form. Most of the school shootings that you see that are violent, they're not black kids, they're white kids. Black kids have their own special set of issues. But white kids have their own special set of issues as well. And so once again, guys, thank you guys for donating to the channel. You guys are doing an awesome job on tonight. I appreciate it. Hold tight.
Control over. So it takes some extra time to settle down. Stop running.
Get this fucking camera on my motherfucking face.
What's up? Really? No, don't do.
This is a lack of control because you don't have father. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. What happens that these boys normally end up in prison. We call it the school to prison pipeline. It's called the school to prison pipeline, meaning eventually end up in prison. And it's very problematic. The school to prison pipeline. And it happens more often than not. So you got kids growing up in chaotic environments. You got kids growing up in chaotic homes. And so when you got chaotic homes and chaotic environments, by the time they get to the school is just a babysitter. I saw when I taught school, I was a special ed teacher. And they use standardized test scores to determine how many prisons they're going to build based on the school to prison pipeline. And it's getting worse, guys, because we don't value boys anymore. Boys are checking out of school because they don't see any inherent value in school. Keep listening.
Lose your mind. Don't lose your mind. A lot of my friends, when I tell them, describe the stuff that I have to do throughout the day, they look at me like I'm crazy. I know of a student that was arguing with another student and turned his back, and that kid pulled out a gun and shot him in his back.
And see, guys, I was a dean of something like a dean of students at one time. I was a curriculum assistant teacher. I was a behavior support teacher. And many times, guys, these folks don't really want change. They just want Band-Aids, man. They want to use you as a Band-Aid. Shout out to my man, Jay Moore, for the $2 super sticker. Thank you, Jay Moore. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, sir, for your kindness. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Jay Moore. Hold tight. But this is what I saw, guys, many times as a behavior support teacher. When you don't have fathers, then you don't have structure. When you don't have structure, you don't have order. When some of these girls don't see their fathers in the home, then they'll challenge cops. Because a lot of times we'll blame cops for everything. And I'm not saying we don't have bad cops, because we do have bad cops. But a lot of time, guys, it's just straight out lawlessness, where we're challenging the lawlessness or challenging the laws of the adherents, man. And we can't have that if we're going to have strong communities. There was a time when kids were expected to respect authority, but we don't have that anymore. They would challenge authority and also fight authority. Keep listening.
And that kid died, and it's sad. I know other kids that have actually done crimes, real criminal crimes that have gotten them locked up for years. I know kids that have actually killed people. So the structure that we try to give them here, is only so much. It's only so much that we can do in the school.
All right, have a sheet of paper. Take out a sheet of paper.
and sit down. I tell you guys, in algebra, what we're usually doing is substitution of.
Imagine guys trying to educate somebody in this chaotic environment. And like I said, I did it for 2 years when I was in the Department of Juvenile Justice. You cannot teach a person unless a child is disciplined. The word disciple comes from the word discipline. When the master teacher, Jesus, taught his disciples, they were disciplined. You have to be disciplined if you're going to be a disciple. But you can't be a follower if you're not disciplined. And so a lot of times in the school system, guys, many of these principals, they will hold you accountable when Raekwon the Man, Day and Shermite and them don't get those end of grade test scores up. But you can't change a culture where they don't value education. These kids, many of them don't value education. They value gang culture and they value foolishness, but they don't value education. And many times these mothers, they don't even come to the PTA meetings. But we wonder why these children's development is so arrested. Hold tight.
Values. Now you got to be able to read these sentences and understand it. It says n plus 7 is the value of n. Then they give the problem, n plus 3. So what is n?
Wait, hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some pimp in it. Hold up, wait a minute.
What if I give you a hard one, Dante?
I
don't know what.
Now look at how goofy they are, man. They don't respect the teacher. The teacher really, his hands is tied. So the teacher cannot discipline him with any form of corporal punishment, because when we were kids, they paddled our behinds in school, but they can't paddle them anymore. But yet at the same time, the school system going to hold this teacher accountable if these kids are not passing in a grade test. And that's a problem.
What y'all talking about? So what am I going to substitute? Matthew, what am I going to substitute? What am I going to change to?
80 is for number 5.
All right, how should I go about doing that? You should always start on this side of the problem.
Shout out to my man, Peaceful Life. Peaceful Life, man, what's going on, dog? We're going to get deep into it, man. But you see Raekwon, the Man, and Day and Shermite and them.
That's when the offsprings, man. Them dudes ain't trying to learn nothing. And let me tell you something, man. You say something to one of those kids, Big Shirley run you over with her SUV, man.
Right.
You trying to make it to your car after school, you get your ass ran over in the parking lot messing with them kids. It's dangerous.
It's very dangerous, man. And you and I both was in law enforcement. You know, you were a cop for, 21 years, I believe?
21 years, my brother.
Okay, 20. I don't know how I guessed it, man. I guessed it right on the head. But you were a cop for 21 years. I did 2 years in the Department of Juvenile Justice. 7 years Department of Juvenile Justice. 2 years I was a mental health correction officer. Well, I want you to share with the audience, Peaceful Life, what you saw as a correlating factor to the recidivism rate of so many young people. What was the correlating factor that you saw as a street cop and also being in up north?
Well, the correlating factor is absentee fatherhood. I mean, that's really the thing about it. You go to all these homes and all the bad neighborhoods, and one thing is abundantly clear. Men hanging on the block, a lot of unemployment, and the absence of masculinity in any of these homes. A lot of single moms ran homes, a lot of unmarried homes, and it's just a dysfunctional environment, and this is the spawn of too much government empowerment, too much welfare, and a community that's completely matriarchal in nature with no real solid male leadership. So you're going to have a lot of these boys that are undisciplined because there's really no accountability, especially in the home and in the community. And when you have women that are recklessly breeding with degenerate men, you're going to have chaos and problems and issues and dilemmas like this, where not only teaching in these community becomes a hazardous situation, and that's really what you have. It's really, really toxic, terrible situation that people try to make the solution to the problem hiring more cops. But the crime is only a symptom of the failure that you see in the family, in the community, in the homes. It's really a failure of the nuclear family, the failure of society, a failure of all kinds of safeguards that were put in place through the family. Really.
Yeah, man. And you retired from law enforcement. What made you eventually retire from it? Was it the rampant lawlessness that you saw, or what was the reason that you eventually said, you know what, it's time for me to hang my head up, man?
Well, the thing about it is, what happens after a while, it becomes burnout. Because here's what happens is this: people put the burdens of their own personal failures on the police. You call the police to solve all of your social problems, all of your personal problems and personal issues, and it's a lose-lose situation. When you cam that mic up, that camera has to go on actively recording at least 30 seconds prior to you hitting that. You hit that chest mic, and that camera cams up. Everything that comes on that camera is recorded, right? And it's left for so many interpretation. And if you're a human being, there's human error. Yeah, you're a trained professional, but you're going to be held to the gun. So you're dealing with all these social failures that you see, all these societal failures, people's problems, people's issues, especially in the community. And we all know that crime is a symptom of the problem. You're expected to fix or solve family things that were created because of family dysfunction.
Right.
So really, it's just a lose-lose situation. You're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't, and then you will become burnt out, stressed out, because the accountability level became even worse. Because remember, everybody has one of these. Everybody, there's a camera on almost every building,
right,
everywhere,
right.
And as soon as something happens because of the actions of other people, you're always on. I mean, I'm talking about, they do weekly and monthly reviews of your camera, see what happens out there, how you're interacting with the public, and many times the public themselves, all they get is snippets of it. They get. I'm trying to be serious, man.
Hold tight. Shout out to my man, Talk on the food, man. Shotgun said, how many times have you heard my baby and never heard it? Yeah. Talk about that, man, because I'm sure you heard it, man. Talk about it.
Oh, you hear it all the time. And that's the problem. It's like, obviously there are some issues that go on. There's issues, maybe issues in society with racism. There's issues in society with brutality. It's worse when you're black,
right?
A black police officer, because automatically you're an Uncle Tom if you're just doing your job. You know what I mean? Like, you're like trapped in between. Like, you try and talk some of these kids out of getting locked up. That's how bad it is, man. You're trying to, like, yo, if you do that, that may not work out so well with you. You know what I mean? You're trying to reason with them, because a lot of them too, without these fathers in their home, they're very emotional. And this emotional thing, you know, if you can't really interpret that, you know, because police officers are trained a certain way, and it's a matter of controlling the scene, and you're out of control and you're all emotional, especially when there's some cultural misunderstanding, and that can go bad fast. You know what I mean? So it's really complicated, difficult, stressful. Most guys, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people may not believe this, but most cops don't even make it past 60.
Right. Correction officers too. Because by the time they retire, they get so used to their body being to what's called fight or flight response. And all that negative cortisol, some probably have strokes, have hardened arteries, which in essence leads to strokes, and a myriad of unresolved issues that they don't even know about. So you're right, most don't live a long time. I totally agree.
But that's what got me out of it, because, you know, the reality is, if I get out of 46, I got out of 46 because I'm like, heck, I saw how people's health was affected, and even those people that have drinking problems and whatever substance abuse problems and issues that they may have as a result of the stress. And you know it better than me.
Right.
You know, you deal with that stuff all the time. But the biggest thing with the community is that it's a lose-lose situation.
Lose-lose, right.
If you're trying to do the right, because I'd come up to dudes, like, there's times I'm walking around in a uniform as a black man. I'm like, you're like, Dude come up to you like, yo, you sold your soul, man. We working for the devils. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, brother? You don't even know me.
Right.
Then this is the type of nonsense you get, man. And you deal with that nonsense because it's a stressful situation. Like I said, you're trapped in the middle of all this dysfunction. Man, remember, everybody is a victim. And the people that are really discriminated against or harm has really been done to them, sometimes they don't get the justice that they need because everybody's claiming it. Everything turns out to be racism. You know what I mean? And then people that are really getting taken advantage of, you know, gets ignored. But the community itself, man, it's rough. You know, I build relationships with the brothers, but, you know, I really didn't have too many problems in terms of getting along with the brothers. But, man, you got to survive the community and still be healthy. It's just it's a lose-lose situation, Coach.
Right.
You're really looking to burn out real fast, and you're going to drop dead because the problem is that there's people that have this mentality that you're supposed to do certain things for them because you're black. You're supposed to cut them a break because they're black. If you enforce the law and hold them accountable, you're an Uncle Tom. But they, you know, it's like it's a crazy thing, and everybody has this victim narrative of the man trying to hold him down. And you know, you're represent that uniform you're wearing represents you're the man. So to be honest with you, I've had the most peaceful life since I got out of police work.
No doubt.
Nonsense, man.
No doubt. Shout out to guys. Go check out my man Red Fields, man. He's wrote a book called Emasculation. Not only can men be emasculated because of the stresses and the struggles of living in a contemporary world, but also men can be emasculated because they don't realize how important their mental health is. If you have not bought this book, go check out Emasculated by my man Edward Fields IV. Go check it out.
Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated, a book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern time. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV, Emasculated. Go get your copy now.
Shout out to Edward Fields, a licensed therapist like myself. And also shout out to Red Lipstick for putting together that editing expose. Shout out to her. If you guys need to get some editing done, go check out Ty from Red Lipstick Vibes, Gold Star Creation. Does a great job, does great work. But anyway, we're going to get back into it, man. I want to finish showing you this clip, man. Hold tight.
All right, go ahead, brother.
The first on the left side. What should I do up there?
Can I see this screen if it works?
So it's equal to 3.
I can't see it. Oh, what? I bet I was probably next to you on even know this shit.
You probably could.
Exactly. I'm about to teach you.
Imagine trying to teach in that chaos. Hold tight.
Man, that dude is popping pills.
Okay.
To get through them days.
Come on, put some problems on the board.
Fuck that.
Shout out to my man, My 2 Cent, for the $9 super sticker. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, My 2 Cent. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, right.
That's
a deal, right?
$2, $9 super sticker.
Right. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Right. Got 5. Right?
Hey, Kosher.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I want to share something with you real quick, man. You know what you know what they got clever and started doing, right? Okay.
What's that?
What they got clever and started doing was they started taking kids like that and basically colonizing them, pulling them into these special schools. So you see those kids with the brown pants coming home on the bus? Don't get on that special bus. Now, I'm not calling them special.
Right.
You get on that special bus, you can die. In the inner cities, in DC, and any of these cities, I'm not like stereotyping these kids.
Right.
But you see a lot of these kids in these special schools, and all of them get on that bus. When they start cursing and carrying on the back of that bus, keep your mouth closed because you might get beaten half to death. Because those are what they've gotten is those kids right there. They've started taking them out of the public school and they've contracted them into these private schools. And like I said, when you get on the bus with them, don't get your ass whooped by making because they'll about 10 of them will jump your ass. You run in there, tell them to stop cursing and carrying on.
Right. No, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
No, you're right, man. And you're also right about on things being dangerous. It's dangerous, man. It's very dangerous, man, because there is no community where people are unified and where we honor and respect our men. You guys gonna see in a few minutes from this woman that she challenged masculine authority, but these cops happen to be black cops, and you see it all too often people's life, where these women are not used to seeing these women and kids, these black boys disrespect another black man. They're not used to structure and order. And so when the cop give you a response, or a teacher gives you a response, and a source sees that whatever teachers walk out, well, teachers are walking out. Some places they can't find teachers, man, because it's not worth it. It's a headache. Go ahead.
Worth it, and let's be honest, man, you might get your ass whooped.
Right.
If you don't come correct.
Right.
Let's be honest. We're gonna say that
right.
It is.
Right.
You mess around and you say the wrong thing to these kids. Not only that, their mama, who probably weighs about 320, could be waiting for you. You get power slam her. You got a whole coalition of people that are just completely degenerate in their mindset and mentality. So whenever their kids say something to them, back in the day, you couldn't say anything about the teacher. You get your ass whooped. The teacher make a report home back in the day. You're in trouble, right? These kids make a report home. Big mama and auntie and all them about 350 a piece come right up there in that old Buick.
Right.
You better hurry your ass to that car fast and get the hell up out of there before you end up being a statistic. Get back to the suburbs.
What you're saying is true, man. What you're saying is because they don't have no respect for masculine authority, and because we live in a very matriarchal society. But hold tight, we're gonna finish playing. Hold tight.
I tell you.
Fuck you.
Give you
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Good.
All that.
Get away from the computer.
My tray still in.
That's you, Ingram. That's your brother.
Shut the fuck up.
Take the coat off.
That's why you don't know how to do the problem.
Take the coat off. Take the coat off. Take the coat off. I'm asking. You will get it at the end of the day. Take the coat off. Take the coat off.
Oh my God.
I'm asking you to take the coat off. One more time, Markel. You gonna get it, okay? You gonna get it. You gonna get it. You gonna get it. Don't you gonna get it?
Face up here.
No, hell no. You ain't. If you want to. You ain't going.
And then peaceful life. That's what I went through, man. When I taught school, you cannot teach a child or anyone that's not disciplined.
No,
you cannot teach a person if they're not disciplined. My 2 cents said, I remember a time when you get paddled in school. I saw it in my lifetimes. For those who don't believe it, yeah, I went through. Even we got paddled as kids. You didn't have the problems you had back then, but when they took corporal punishment out, they took prayer out. In my opinion, things just went haywire, man. Ever since then. But hold tight. We're gonna look at this woman disavowing the law. Hold tight.
12 to the radio, 72 stop at 2700 Shady Valley Drive on the blue Kia Forte, Ohio tag, John Edward Henry 7969, black male, black shirt, black female, black shirt. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Hello.
All right. Well, I see the Ohio tag. I'm not sure if y'all from here or not, but you can't be inside the park in the city of Atlanta between the hours 11 p.m. 6 a.m.
Okay.
You got your IDs on you? You have your IDs on you?
Yes.
Let me need them. You have your ID now? All right, just stand by. I'll be right back with you.
Ingram, why are these scenarios so dangerous, man? You being a former cop, pulling up on folks, man. Why are these scenarios so dangerous in your opinion?
Well, it's the great unknown. You don't know what the heck they got going on in that car. So obviously they're in there, after dark, he's probably, it could be a relationship thing. It could be, just a guy trying to pound something out in the park. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the rules are very simple,
Right.
From was it dawn to dusk?
Right.
You can't be in the park. Once the dark comes in many cities, many municipalities, you can't be in there. But at the end of the day, people, there's some people just don't follow the rules, but he has to do what he has to do. But you never know. You don't know what's in that car.
So there's a citation for being in the park. At a certain time, they can give you a citation.
They can give you a citation, but most of the time they give you a warning. What he's going to do is just run them and check them for warrants, and probably kick them loose, unless he's just trying to collect a stat.
Okay, well, tell me if you thought this cop was wrong. Hold tight. And guys, get the likes up, please. Get the likes up. Share the content. Thank you.
All right, sir, like I explained to you, you can't be in the park at night. You're just going to receive a simple ticket stating that you was in the park after hours. All right? I need you to sign right on there.
What am I signing over? Is it a charge or anything? Or
It's just a ticket.
And I have to sign it?
You can not sign it and go to jail. It's this one here.
Was that too punitive in your opinion, Ingram, or was not?
He was fine with the citation. It's just the idea of telling somebody they have to sign it or they'll go to jail. That's just provoking somebody. If he doesn't want to, you can't make anybody sign anything. I mean, in some states, they can carry you forthwith to jail, especially in many states with the justice of the peace. If you refused, like a ticket is considered an arrest. Depends on what state you're in. But in this situation, if you start threatening people with jail for a citation for being in the park after dark, I wouldn't have started out with that conversation. I say, you don't have to sign it. That's an option, but you're still going to get the ticket. Right. I mean, don't tell somebody. You start taking it to the level of jail, then the question is, are you just being unnecessary now?
So was that cop within his right though to say that?
I don't know what state they are in. I would think I gotta know what state it's in. You know what I mean? But some states, they can take you forthwith to jail for citations, even traffic matters. Delaware is one of them. Jersey, no. It depends on what. It got to be a serious matter like a DUI or something else.
Right.
But my thing is, when you start off the sentence with somebody just making some type of petty offense like being in the park after dark, when you start threatening people with jail, it can go south real fast. I wouldn't even have said that. I'll say, look, man, that's your choice. You want to sign it, but I'm just saying it just makes sense. You're going to get a ticket. You're going to have to pay it anyhow, so you might as well sign the ticket. It's up to you, brother. I would try and finesse that.
Right. So you think he could have used better skill? You think he was a little too aggressive?
I think his people's skills could have been better.
Okay, shout out to my man, the man of the album, man, the Guapo, man. I ain't seen that brother in a long time. Much love and blessings to that brother and his little son to be El Guito, I think. Yeah.
Brother, man.
Little Guapo, yeah. But shout out to Guapo, man, for that $20 hitter, man. And that's a deal, man. I appreciate it, Guapo. Sure, man. It's good to see you in the house.
That's a deal, right? That's the deal, right?
Also, blessings to your wife as well, brother. Thank you, brother Guapo.
I don't like the
sir.
idea of provoking people with telling people they can take away their freedom.
That's
your freedom is one of the most important things in your life. And you tell somebody that, you're going to start somebody on edge.
Right. So you feel like his soft skills were a little too harsh, even though that cop could have been within right. Because in certain states,
right, depending on what state he's in, but I wouldn't even put that on the table, because taking away somebody's freedom for some in the park after dark, whatever they were doing back there,
right.
You know, unless they're doing something else, you know.
Right. Once again, shout out to my man Guapo showing love. Shout out to him. Shout out to my man Top Gun. Happy New Year. He said 2020, 23 pound the step. Top Gun crazy here, bro.
Yeah.
Hold tight.
That's your license. Copy the citation. You have any questions? That's what it is. Come over here for me, ma'am. Can you come here, ma'am? All right, so you're going to receive a ticket for being in the park after hours. All right? Just need to sign right here on the end.
Then you're going to see the difference a peaceful life. You being a former cop and I working in law enforcement as well. He signed the ticket. Right. He didn't argue with the cop. But you're going to see where this woman, because her development has been arrested due to the lack of fathers, due to the lack of a cerebral respect for men and masculinity, not only in law enforcement, but also male leadership in general. You're going to see her call her mom name out, but not one time mention her father. Tell me where this woman was wrong and what she could have done different in this scenario. But hold tight.
But because we're out of, didn't you say we were out of time, so we wouldn't have known that?
Yeah, but that's not a valid reason why you should be in the park, because you're from out of time.
And what's your badge number?
7452.
And what's your name?
Officer Brooks.
What's your first name?
And see, this guy, in my opinion, he should have said, listen, baby, don't argue with him. Just go ahead and get the ticket. We'll figure things out.
Right.
But it looks like he was simping, in my opinion. What's your take on that?
Well, you know, obviously she's running the show, but
she's running the show, right?
You're dealing with a woman. You're dealing with someone that is, and my thoughts, you know how it is in the community. They're not used to accountability and whatever. This dude knows as a man there's real consequences for action.
Right.
So he's saying to himself, I'm not going to jeopardize myself and get locked up for no petty, that ticket couldn't be no more than $50, or I'm not going to jail for no $50 ticket. But with her, she's not used to being held accountable for nothing. And she's she's in charge over there. You can tell that by the masculinity in her behavior.
Right.
She's not accepting any of this. She's challenging his authority.
She's challenging his authority, right.
Right. And this is where it goes left, because she's not used to respecting any type of masculine authority, except for, her, her boss at the job, who may be what they call it, white zaddy. That's the only authority she respected. But she's not respecting anything,
But you can see how women like this, perhaps if this cop or rogue cops, that man could have lost his life because she was too emotional.
Well, I think he should have reined her in, but he ain't reining this in. He ain't pounding nothing tonight if he tries to rein that in, because then she gonna say like, you didn't take my side, so you ain't pounding tonight. You know what these modern women are from the community. He's like, eat this $50 ticket, let her talk. I can still pound tonight. You know, I ain't jumping in the middle of this because if he tries to not take her side, he's done.
Right. No, I totally agree, man. She got that
that type of energy, you know what I mean? So he's protecting his pound later on. He's like, all right, I didn't get the pound in this park, but there's still hope.
When she about to go through the real pound, you'll see. Hold tight.
I'm not going to give you my first name.
Okay, and I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, like I explained to him.
Now listen to what she just said. He's a law enforcement officer. She's telling him his job. That's disrespectful. If this woman had soft skills, peaceful life, she probably could have resolved a lot of the conflict. But because she don't have soft skills, because she isn't her masculine energy, and because he is simple, in my opinion, he could have saved the whole scenario. But because he has not been socialized to check his woman, she has not been socialized to respect masculine authority. They both are putting themselves in a very precarious situation. Hold tight.
If you don't sign it, then you're going to be physically taken to jail.
Gotcha.
So you're refusing to sign?
What's your name?
Officer Brooks, 7452.
What's the badge number?
I gave it to you 2 times, man.
Okay, I'm asking again.
And I'm not giving it to you.
You see how disrespectful this woman is towards this cop, man? Tell me what you see that's wrong with her behavior, her demeanor.
Well, she's not complying in any ways, form. I mean, she's not being physically aggressive, but she's being defiant.
Very defiant.
And where's this going to escalate? Because this dude's like has that look on his face, like, oh, she's about to get us, and she's about to escalate a situation. Worst case scenario, they walk out of there with $50, $100, maybe $200 fine, and it's over. You know what I mean? Like to escalate, it's like getting a parking ticket, Kosher. That's what they're getting. They're getting the equivalent of a parking ticket.
Right.
Take that parking ticket and just beat feet. Who wants to be? You know what I'm saying? Like he don't.
Tom go crazy.
He said the problem is he told her to sign instead of asking. Who hurt him? You know what I mean? Like this is the problem is just the whole idea of any type of authority,
right?
And the defiance to authority. But we're talking about the equivalent of a parking ticket here. This ain't stirring nothing up, you know.
Right.
Roll.
Right. And you know, she could have probably, if she had the proper soft skills, she could have perhaps talked the way out of the ticket. You know, but she didn't even exhibit any soft skills. And she could have if this guy was a road cop, he could have turned around and deleted her and this guy. But you guys gonna see where the lack of soft skills and the lack of proper development, because this woman's lack of development led to her arrest. And that's what happens with the rest of development, not only with some of these young kids, but also with this particular woman. Hold tight.
Okay.
Are you gonna sign it?
No, because I want your badge number.
That's fine. You want to put your hands behind your back for me?
And this is lack of awareness, Peaceful Life.
Right.
This is a lack of awareness, some that sadly many of our children have, many of our women have. The lack of self-awareness and the lack of respect for law and authority. And this cop is a black cop, man, to say the least. But you know, that's what lack of self-awareness does. It doesn't respect the law or respect masculinity. Hold tight.
Hey, listen, my man. She said she's not signing it. Put your hands behind your back.
Sir,
ma'am,
you're hurting me.
Okay. I'm asking you to put your hands behind your back.
Sir?
Put your hands behind your back. 12, start me up, man.
Resisting arrest.
Sir.
Man, put your hand behind your back. Come on. I need you to back up.
I'm just saying, like,
I need you to back up.
You don't need to touch her like that.
She's not putting her hands behind.
No, look at this Sip, man.
He's going to get a charge for obstruction. Oh,
right.
My God.
What's wrong with this Sip, man? This Sip man told her, be quiet, do what he said so we can get out of here. But the Sip didn't say anything, man. And you can tell Ingram, she ain't used to structure. She's not used to discipline. Look how shocked she looked. She saw a ghost, man.
But she turned a parking ticket into resisting arrest. You got obstruction now. You got all kinds of crap going on now. I mean, you got about 4 or 5 charges from a parking ticket.
Right.
Like, this is what people don't understand. You take them 2 parking tickets and you fight them. If you want to fight them in court, I just pay those parking tickets and call it a look. Take it out. But the problem also too is he has no masculine authority over this woman.
No masculine authority. Right.
Because a man, if he's a masculine man, see, now he's going to challenge the cop because now he's trying to save his queen. But the time to save his queen was when she's running off at the mouth. Challenging the police officer. He should have said, hey, sign this paper, sign this ticket. I'll take care of this ticket, and we'll deal with this later. But no, we're not doing this. Sign the ticket and let's get out of here.
Right. And that's part of his provision. His provision is his ability to guide her and lead her. This cop told this woman twice, if you don't sign it, then you're going to jail. He told her twice.
Right.
But then she's still asking for his badge number, challenging his authority. And that's what happens, Peaceful Life, when you have arrested development. Arrested development will lead you to being arrested. And this is what happens all too often in the Black community because of the lack of parental guidance and the lack of male leadership and the lack of respecting authority in masculine leadership. And we see it happen all too often, especially with this kid that cussed out the teacher. Hold tight.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it's going to cost them thousands of dollars. Maybe if they don't get, maybe if they're not in the economic situation, get a public defender or whatever. Now you're paying possibly thousands of dollars to get out of a nut. You end up with 3, 4, 5 charges, depending on what state you're in, over the equivalent of a parking. It says dawn to dusk. You cannot be in the park after dark.
Right.
In many municipalities, and they do it for a reason, is to protect people in certain situations, to keep people safe. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have all kinds of degenerate activity going on, and plus there's a safety issue too in the park after dark, so that's why these laws are in fact. But she just escalated. Like I said, it's the most boneheaded thing ever, and he has no masculine control. And you can't really control many of these women from the community anyhow. I mean, they're out of control. So he's going to get this is unnecessary, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Right. It is unnecessary, man. And this is what happens when you don't have masculine leadership being manifest, because this woman clearly has not been socialized to respect masculine leadership and masculine authority.
I'm asking a question.
Okay.
All I'm doing is
put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. I asked you to sign the ticket. You told me you're not signing it.
Sir,
put your hands behind your back.
I'm asking you a question.
Okay? I'm letting you know. I'm not going to ask you again. I'm going to forcibly put your hands behind your back.
But, sir,
you've been given
Mr. Brooks, is this really necessary? Mr. Brooks.
Hold on. Hey, listen, my man. She needs to put her back up.
Can I?
Okay, you can put your phone down.
Okay, Mr. Brooks.
Come on, sir. Hold on. Put your hands behind your back.
I'm not saying that I'm refusing to sign the ticket. I'm going to sign the ticket.
You don't have an option.
Now she wants to sign the ticket.
But I'm going to sign the ticket, Mr. Brooks. I'm going to sign the ticket. I'm going to sign the ticket.
No, I'm not going to play that.
I know, but I'm going to sign.
Put your hands behind your back.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to sign
your hands behind your back.
You remember the time we were kids growing up, and your mom would tell you, turn around. And so I can spank you. You said, I'm going to turn around. But then they kept it being defined. Then by the time it was too late, I'm going to turn around. They start wearing you out. Only thing she had to do is respect authority and respect this man as a cop. And this is a black cop, man.
But it's stupid because she's fighting with the guy. He's obviously resisting arrest. Now if she shoves him or something like that, he can hit her with assault. There's all kinds of things that you're just adding charges to it, you know what I mean? And like I said, my man, he needs to stand back, because if he gets into it, he can possibly get seriously injured in this situation.
Right.
Georgia's probably one of those states where they can take you forthwith. They can either issue a citation or they can.
What does that mean? Forthwith. What does that mean?
They can take you straight to jail, straight to court, straight to jail, or take you straight to court.
Right.
So that they can seize you. Basically, when they stop you for that ticket, you're basically under arrest. It depends, So, I mean, lead attorney, one of those guys can explain it better, but he could have took her to jail, basically. But he's going to issue the citation, which is the equivalent of a parking ticket. Now you've got other charges, including obstruction and resisting arrest. There's all kind like they just completely, this is a complete failure, to be honest with you, because of a woman that is completely resistant to any type of masculine authority, especially from black men.
Right.
And also you have a guy that has absolutely no control over his woman. It's just ridiculous. We have so much things going on here, man, but it's just a disaster.
Right. And this is a disaster. Shout out to my man, Mr. C, for that $1 super truck. Thank you, Mr. C. Thank you, Calvin, for that $1 super sticker. Thank you, sir. I just think this thing down from a legal perspective as it relates to arrested development.
I'm asking you, why am I putting my hands behind my back? I'm going to sign the ticket, but why am I under arrest?
Sir, she's about to sign the ticket.
I'm going to sign the ticket.
She's about to sign the ticket.
I'm
That's all
going
you
to sign
wanted
the
to do
ticket,
is sign
Mr.
the
Brooks.
ticket. That's all it is.
I'm going to sign the ticket.
That's how she signed the ticket. You told me you're not signing.
I'm going to sign the
about to
ticket
sign the
now.
ticket
Mr.
now.
Brooks, I'm going
You
to
don't
sign
have
the
that
ticket.
option now.
Why don't I have the option,
Because I
Mr.
gave you
Brooks?
2 options.
She was just asking for your badge number
I'm
at
asking
first.
for your badge number, and I wasn't clear on why you weren't giving me your badge
Sir, you
number.
don't have, sir, you do not have to hold her like that.
Oh my God!
Sir, you do not have to drag her like
Mr.
that.
Brooks, I'm telling you that I'm going.
Sir,
I'm going to sign.
Sir, you do not have to grab her like that.
I'm going to sign the ticket, Mr. Brooks. I'm going to sign the ticket. Why am I being arrested? Can you please tell me why I'm being arrested? Oh my God! I'm so scared. My God, please, in the name of Jesus, please, God, in the name. Why am I being arrested, Mr. Brooks?
You don't need to call him Jesus now. She should be calling the devil.
Well, she got a soft takedown move. She could have been arm barred and dropped straight onto the ground.
Right.
He could have dropped her, but she's got, she's resisting arrest, actively resisting arrest.
Right.
It's a bad situation because the dude is still free. You never know what that dude's going to do to the cop, but to protect his queen. But she has she escalated the whole entire situation. This is completely unnecessary.
Unnecessary, right? It's totally unnecessary.
Like he could have dropped her multiple times. He didn't do it.
Right.
He was well within his right.
And she calling him Jesus now, man. She's saying Lord, not Lord,
but
Lord.
even in the
Lord.
situation she's in right now, she's still actively resisting. She's resisting being handcuffed. She's resisting the officer's control. He cannot get a hold of her. She's fighting. She's struggling. She's holding her arms so he can't put her arms behind her back and put her in custody. So she's not compliant at all. I see no compliance. She's going to lose this. Right. Lost. Mm-hmm. So the officer knows that she's at a loss. She's done.
Right. Yeah, she is done. Hold tight.
I'm going to sign a ticket. Mr. Brooks, why am I being arrested? Why am I being arrested? I don't understand why I'm being arrested. Can you please tell me why I'm being arrested?
Turn around and put your hands behind your back.
Tell me why I'm being arrested. I have the right. I have the right.
Still resisting and still lacking self-awareness.
But look what this simp is doing. He's recording, as opposed to he could have prevented if he had any type of masculine control. Like the first instinct he gets is to record the situation, as opposed to controlling his woman
and controlling his woman. Right.
Now he was going to record it. What are you going to do? Make a complaint that's going to get dismissed? That's not going anywhere. Even if you file an internal affairs complaint, that as soon as they watch that body cam, that camera has been running the whole entire time on his camera's running, his mic is running. It is what it is. She just got locked up unnecessarily.
Right. Arrested development led her to being arrested because if she had developed properly, whether it be from a sociological perspective or also from a developmental perspective, she wouldn't have had this issue. Her soft skills probably could have got her out of that ticket. And she could have said, okay, officer, I'm sorry, I apologize. But even if the officer didn't, still gave her the ticket. Or she said, please forgive me, I didn't know, and you got the right to do your job. Sometimes soft skills can get you out of situations. But this woman didn't have no soft skills. She was challenging this man's authority. She was very masculine. He told her twice, and then she kept asking about the ticket, which is crazy. Hold tight.
No, oh my God.
Put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting.
Do not
Stop
take
resisting.
What are you taking her for?
I didn't take it.
Why are you pulling it out?
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
Come on, sir. This is unnecessary. What are you doing? This is over this whole park.
Why am I being arrested?
Just put your down. Just put your hands behind your back.
I don't understand why I'm being arrested. That's why I'm not putting my hands behind my back. You have not given me a reason. So why am I getting? I'm not. You didn't have to tell me.
You're on mute, buddy. You're mute. You're mute. You're mute.
How many times did this man tell her if you don't sign the ticket, you're gonna be arrested? He told her twice.
Yeah, I mean, she has multiple reasons to arrest her. The problem is that she's now playing the victim card, of course, and some bunch of simps will come in there and think that this is a situation of profiling, or she's been unfairly picked on when she's had multiple opportunities to get out of that situation untouched, unscathed, sign a damn parking ticket, and get the hell out of Dodge. I mean, right. The officer's actually being very generous because he could have tased her about 20 times. I see so far.
He could have tased her. Right. He could have tased her, man. And it's unfortunate. Gregory Scotland said that she is mentally unstable in the same way the anti-passport females are. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and you see them. They come into men's spaces. They be challenging you in men's spaces. Think about it.
Right.
Even
That's
on my
true.
channel.
That's true.
In my channel, I got women coming into my comment section challenging men, and we just be chilling on my channel having our locker room chats.
Right.
And they come in there and they want to challenge you and argue with you and debate you and whatever else. So this is all a manufactured nonsense that's unnecessary. Now she's crying because she realized that her freedom is actually about to be taken.
Right. No, I totally agree, man, that she is a classic hyena. That is hyena behavior. Classic.
Yeah, they always go victim. They always go victim mode. They create the environment.
I totally agree. Byron Hammer said a pig squeal that is not going to change the officer's mind. You're getting arrested.
He has to go through with it now. He's in a situation where he cannot. He has to go through with it. He's put his hands on her. He put his hands on her to put her in arrest. He fought. He has to go through with it now. The chance to get out of it was when she was given a little bit of attitude, and she could have got out of it. But Well,
listen, shout out to Top Gun. The alligator tear crowd sounds familiar. And guys, I want to share something with you. You guys know in England, we both know it. One of the greatest manipulation tools that a woman will use, and you guys can see what we're talking about. Not all women do it, but many do it. They'll use their tears to manipulate you. Their tears is a way to manipulate you because many cannot deal with you physically. When they do that, just ignore it. If they violated something, just ignore them damn tears and go ahead and execute judgment. Because they'll cry and start tearing up to get out of trouble. But you can't pay those tears no attention. You just got to follow up, follow through, and hold that person accountable. You guys going to see it firsthand with those fake tears. Hold tight.
Right, y'all told me why I've been arrested. That's exactly why I got putting my hands on my back.
So you have not read her Miranda rights and none of that?
Oh my God!
Give me your hands. I need you to back up, sir.
Sir, I'm not backing up with you.
Got every request. You need to back up.
Oh my God!
she's still actively resisting. She's
still resisting. Still resisting. Right. She's still resisting. Right.
Please, sir, you have not told me why I've been arrested. That's why I have not put my hands behind my back. You have not told me that you have not read me my rights or anything. And you're steady doing this.
He said it went from I'm not signing that to Mr. to Sir and then Jesus. She called him Jesus. Well, she should have been called him Jesus at first, man. But she went from I'm not signing that to Mr. to Sir and then the Jesus. So you see what she did? She went from she knows how to respect authority, but she chose not to. She went from
she
went from Mr. Then she went to a more greater respect to Sir, and then she called him Jesus, the master of authority.
And she's getting away with a lot of things because even what she's doing right now with tucking her hands, if a man was to tuck his hands like that, you would not want. I'm not even going to talk about what the cops would do to you to get your hands from underneath you. There's things that you're trained to do to remove those hands from underneath a tuck, and it's not very pleasant. And what I'm saying is that he's still wrestling with her because he's trying to be,
trying to be nice. He's trying to be gentle.
He's trying to be gentle. Like he say, what do you think of a possible debate between Crimson Cure and Cynthia G? I think if there's a moderator that's a moderator has to. I get like, okay, Crimson Cure, Cynthia G on the lead attorney, and let him moderate, or even one of us, the kosher or me. It has to be somebody to referee that.
Right.
Because what's happening, we know Cynthia G is what she is. You know, and the problem with a lot of modern women is that they are who they are. And you can only hold them accountable to logic if you have somebody to moderate the debate. You can't do one-on-one with them.
Right. Which is unfortunate. Let's finish listening. Hold tight.
I mean, I don't understand. Can you really just tell me why I'm getting arrested? That's all I'm asking.
I just told you.
Why?
You refused to sign the ticket.
I did not. I told you I was going to sign the ticket, Mr. Brooks. I told you I was going to sign the ticket. Can I please sign the ticket?
Put your hands behind your back.
I don't understand.
Put your hands behind your back, man.
I'm telling you, I'm going to sign the ticket, Mr. Brooks. I will sign the ticket, please.
Now, put your hands behind your back.
Why you? I don't understand.
Put your hands behind your back.
You're handling me.
Put your hands behind your back.
You do not need to handle her like that, sir.
God, please.
This situation has gone out of hand.
Put your hands behind your back.
You're hurting me. You are hurting me.
Okay, put your hands behind your back.
I told you I'm not putting my hands behind. I told you I'm ready my rights. You have not done any of that. You're not telling me why I'm going to jail.
Sir, this is unnecessary.
Put your hands behind your back.
Please, Mr. Brooks, tell me why I'm being arrested.
You're still fighting and resisting.
You're fighting and resisting, right?
She's hurt right now. She's hurt right now.
Hold on for a second, bro. Stop resisting.
I'm trying to tell you.
She's talking to you.
You are, Mr. Brooks, you are hurting my arm.
And you know what, Ingram? You know, this is a generation that's not used to discipline. They did a study where they said Generation Z is the most selfish and the most narcissistic generation of any generation. They're not used to, like the old folks say, getting your ass tore up. You know, we got our behinds tore up. And so you can tell this woman is not used to discipline. She's probably never been. Now, I'm not saying I agree with corporal punishment, more or less. I think in certain cases it can be used if it's used effective. But you can tell she's never got any type of discipline or any form of corporal punishment. Shout out to my man, Hammer TV. He said that the arrested hyena example is an example of the community raised under the gynocracy. They are always raised to disrespect men and male authority figures. And you are 1,000% correct, man. I'll give you 1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, he could have tased her. He could have sprayed her. And he could have softened her up a little bit and released those hands.
Right.
But he didn't do it. He just tried to use physical strength to overpower her. Right.
He was being very kind. Because like Zoomer Generation said, he said, I would have tased her a long time ago. Yeah. He talked too much, but he wasn't trying to hurt her.
He was, he's trying to see what happens is he's trying to gently facilitate the arrest because she's a female. And he doesn't want to make a scene, but now the brother all of a sudden has got a voice now. You're saying he could have prevented this by
he's a film.
This is like community failure where the man has no control over the woman, and then all of a sudden at the end he wants to be a recording man and try to voice his displeasure when he could have prevented the whole thing altogether if he was actually had some balls. But he ain't got no balls.
You got him in the jar, man.
You got him in the jar. She running the show.
Come on, man.
Oh my God! Is this real? Please, God.
You're fighting.
You're fighting.
I'm being arrested.
So y'all are hurting her. She's resistant. Go to move.
Oh my God!
Code 46-3.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Make sure you lock those cuffs out.
That was unnecessary.
Oh my God!
You can record from over here.
Oh my God!
What's your name, Officer Brooks? What's your name, sir? Officer Taylor. Officer Taylor. God.
Come on. All right, sit up.
This is her. Where y'all taking her?
Oh my God.
Back up. What do you mean back up? This is my friend. Y'all don't know her. Back how does it? She's hurting right now. She's crying. What do you mean take care of her? You was just here for a party. Now she's down on her rest. Hey, bro.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh man.
All right, bro. Stand up. Turn around.
Oh my God.
You got any weapons on you? Any knives, anything like that?
No.
You sure? Alright.
Oh my God.
Put your feet inside.
Oh my God. Can I have my phone?
She went from doing all that damn crying to say, "Can I have my phone?"
That's all. Theatrics. It's like an Academy Award. She give an Academy Award for BS.
This woman got, guys, did y'all listen? She got more respect for her cell phone than she does for authority. Make it make sense, Peaceful Life. More respect for a cell phone than she does for authority.
Well, it just got real because she could. All the theatrics have failed.
Right.
And I guess what? She's going to be at the station. She's going to be all nice and buttery because at the end of the day, you know, now she's been held accountable for something. But the problem is the unnecessariness of all that BS she went through. Like,
right.
All you got to do is respect a little bit of authority in that situation. You know, every situation is unique. But in that situation, the officer is totally justified with this arrest. And she is fortunate because he didn't use anything unnecessary force other than physically trying to restrain her.
Right.
My man's out. He may have taken her to dinner. He's not going to pound tonight. And all he's looking at all that ass wrestling on the ground. He's like, "Oh my God, don't scratch it. I ain't touched none of this tonight. You dudes is ruining my life." You know,
she is very corpulent, very corpulent.
It's like it's whole like. Imagine like this was the night for him. He had it in the park. They were about to, whatever in the park, or they're about to go to the house or whatever.
Right.
He's taking major L's.
Shout out to Hope Love. She's a woman. She said that I am a woman and I don't feel sorry for her. If she's hurting, she balled upon herself. She could have signed the ticket and left the park. Absolutely. She chose the hard way. God help her kid. She's a mess. And we need more wise and more mature women like this. Women where their development have not been arrested because Hope is correct. She took a mountain and damn turned into a molehill. But you know, on the end, Ingram, she said, "Give me my cell phone." She went from crying and squealing like a pig, just drying them tears up because she respect her cell phone and that dopamine hit from that cell phone over the jurisprudence of a law enforcement officer. What a shame, man.
She's probably looking to make that social media post on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok about how she was wrongfully arrested and carried away. These officers are racist and they're prejudiced against her. So, she got to make that TikTok. That's relevant. This got to be put out to the public. Her friends or followers have to know about this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that phone is her lifeblood to the world. So that's what it is. She don't care about that dude. That dude, whatever money he spent that evening, he ain't gonna pound. He just gonna have to take an L. It's over that day. He might have to spend some more to bail her out.
Right. Hold tight.
So I came right here now.
This was nothing, but we were just at the park.
No,
I know.
that's
All we
not
were about
true.
to do was leave. That's what we was about to do. She was asking why did she have to sign a ticket, and then that's how, and it escalated from there.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, that's why she was like, she was explaining, like, she wanted an explanation of why was that the case.
She said, I'm not signing. Then when I took the Helen council,
She said that at first until you said you're going to jail. She didn't know what that was the consequence of not signing the ticket.
Oh, so me saying she's not going to jail wasn't enough?
She was asking why do I have to sign a ticket? You said it was just like, oh, you're going to jail if you don't sign it. That's not a good explanation of why you need to sign a ticket.
I mean, but
that's just saying that's the consequence. That's not the same. All you had to say was like, we were just about to leave. We were leaving. You were coming to tell us the park's closed. Y'all got to get out. That's it. And then now you had to just drag her on the floor and hurt her over the park. This ain't even. You got like 6-7 cops over a park. Somebody getting shot right now. Y'all over here just over some bullshit.
I mean, we didn't get any calls about anybody getting shot right now.
I'm saying, well, apparently if they did, they wouldn't be there. Y'all wouldn't be there. Y'all be here. We were here before it got after dark. I didn't know that. I didn't know the time of the park closed. That's why he came over here and told us when the park closed. If you see my tag, you see I'm not from here. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. I'm not saying what every other thing is. I'm just telling you what you asked me.
My moving.
Oh, man. I'm proud of the fact that these are all diverse group of guys. Brothers, everything. It's all diversity going on over there.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of brothers. It's a lot of brothers.
They're laughing at him like this dude just mad he ain't gonna pound nothing tonight. Good luck trying to make an internal affairs complete with that. They're just gonna laugh at that one. It's over. That IA is gonna be dismissed, and she's probably gonna get about 4 charges.
Yeah, she deserves it.
You know, over the equivalent of a parking ticket.
Right, right. Something that simple. But it was all because she didn't respect authority. She started challenging the authority. What is your badge number? What is your name? Foolish stuff, man. I see it happen all too often where these people, some of these kids don't respect authority. They think they can tell police what to do. And,
police, teachers.
Right, police, teachers, right.
They try to do it with coaches too, which, you know, that gets checked fast. Well, you know, some of these AAU coaches and whatever else, you know, obviously the kids that, you know, there's a definite separation when the kids become so successful with sports. We separate them anyhow. But this is just a community, and I think that's why a lot of people just understand that you can't. There's nothing you could do about these people. You have to separate yourself, and that's why I always talk about there has to be a new society where, you know, you got to leave these people like that alone and create your own. You know, of like-minded people who share the same values. There's nothing you could do about these people. That's just the way they are.
Oh, I agree, man. And it's unfortunate. Hold tight.
Nathan, and then y'all attorney, y'all lost me.
If you don't sign, you're going to jail. Are you signing it? No. Then when I take the handcuffs off, oh no, I'm gonna sign it. No, I don't worry like that.
It wouldn't even go. I'm gonna get it obstruction.
Yeah, I'll throw that on there.
Get an obstruction charge. That's ridiculous. Stupid.
Nikki has my phone. Can I please have my phone, sir? Mr. Brooks, can I please have my phone? Please.
You're in custody.
Can you give Mr. Nick my phone, please?
Yeah, I can give him your phone.
Can you please give him my phone?
That's fine.
Thank you. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Hey, bro, this is shit.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, bro, it took so much restraint, bro.
Oh my God.
I don't even play like that.
Oh my God, please. Nick, can you please get my phone? Mr. Boyce is going to give you my phone, Nick.
No, I told her to call 46. I was 26 hours. But my GPS kept going like
Just
because I thought you said I got You feel what? Real sick?
Yes, I don't feel good.
What's wrong with you?
My neck is hurting. I feel broke. My neck and my back is hurting, Mr. Brooks, and I feel very broke.
My neck and my back.
I'm hurting. I'm hurting.
Okay, I'm about to raise Grady for you.
Oh my gosh, I'm hurting. My back is hurting, and my neck and my arms are hurting.
all right, penalty.
Oh my gosh, I'm hurting. Oh my god. I'm hurting.
All right, fine.
Hold on. I'm gonna speed up this up a little bit.
So, stop their license. Give them a copy. So, call the mail over first, and let them know.
What's the code section for the park?
110-60.
110-60.
Use of park at night.
Okay.
So, explain to him.
1:10.
He was like, do I have to sign it? So explain to him if he doesn't sign it, he's going to physically go to jail. So he signed it. And then my female over explained the same thing to her. She was like, I'm not signing that. So she was like, I explained to her, I said, okay, if you don't sign it, you're going to jail. What's your badge number? What's your name? What's your first name? Like, I'm not telling you my first name. My name is Officer Brooks, 7452. Explained that to her. Then I told her, actually again, I said, you going to sign it? No. And she started asking some more questions. I said, listen, I'm asking you one more time. Are you going to sign it? She said, no. So now when I take handcuffs off, she said, oh no, I'm going to sign it now. I said, no, I don't play like that. You're going to jail.
Yeah. Still keep it city or?
Yeah, I mean,
She's just like pulling away and all that stuff.
yeah, she was pulling away, wouldn't give me her hand, she was tucking her hand.
Oh.
So I was able to get one hand, but she wouldn't give me the other. Did do a leg sweep, put on the ground. There's no punches thrown, anything like that.
You know the city charge for obstruction?
Disorderly.
They actually have a
I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, Ingrid. Then we're gonna finish breaking this thing down.
I was just looking at the fines for that citation.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, I'm looking at the fines for that citation, and really you're dealing with some petty, not even petty disorderly type nonsense, but it just is nothing compared to what she's about to get hit with resisting arrest, with the obstruction. You can fine up to $1,000, up to a year in jail,
right?
For those types of situations. She's gonna get hit with some money. He probably hit up about 2 or 3 charges at minimum. So you went from probably like a $75 situation to a couple of grand on the light side.
Right.
Hire a lawyer, that's gonna cost you even more. I mean, she could be out of pocket 5 to 10 grand over a $75 ticket. So you go figure, and possibly time in jail. She could be locked up for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, all over a ticket, man. And you see it all too often. I see it. We all as men, we see it, man. And it's to the point that you can't even do your job anymore, man, because you're afraid of retribution. You're afraid of how people are going to respond. And you guys saw firsthand manipulation in the hands of some of these women, manipulative behavior, And this woman was definitely, in my opinion, Peaceful Life, very manipulative. In your opinion, what do you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely manipulative, and played the victim card quite well. What you see with a lot of these women, these modern women, especially from the community. Don't get me wrong, the Karens are bad too. The Karens are bad too. But the thing about it is that in these situations, it's just unnecessary, especially for Black people knowing certain situations. You know, get home safe, get out of the situation, don't escalate it. Why create it? But that's simple. It's really disappointing to see a man that weak, to be honest with you,
right,
Kosher. I mean, that's just terrible. He had no control over his woman, none. And all these women be talking about, not submitting to a man, not submitting to a man's authority. This is one of the reasons why you need to be submitting to a man's authority. And so he can keep you, he can save you from yourself many times.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I agree. And did you ever see scenarios like this in your 21 years of being a cop?
I've seen scenarios like this. I've seen scenarios where the worst case scenarios is what happens with even a lot of these domestic violence situations, where women are really trying to get these dudes locked up. You know what I mean? Like literally you go to a DV, it can be just a verbal domestic violence call, right? They haven't gotten physical or anything like that. That's when she starts saying things like, I slept with your friend, your penis is small, or this, all of that. That's trying to provoke a smack in front of the cops to get locked up. You know what I mean? Because think about it, like what happens many times in DV is that a lot of times the women that are people that are really being victimized by domestic violence don't get the justice that they really deserve. And you come to a DV call, that woman that's really being abused, most of the time, not all the time, that one is usually quiet because she's living with a killer. Is that one that's yapping her mouth and getting that guy's face and telling him that his whatever is small, and then, she slept with his friend and his cousin and calling him doing all kinds of emasculating things. That is mutual combat usually in that house. And that's really what it comes down to. She's trying to get him locked up.
Right. Shout out to my man Drew Son for the 5. He said, "Can I have my phone?" Shout out to Topic Gun said they both got feminine when action was taken.
Facts.
and it's true. And he doesn't demolish him masculinity. He did, he got his woman accountable, sadly. But he didn't do it because he was more concerned about getting him some box. Yeah. I'm going to finish playing a little bit more of this, and I might drop the link for a few minutes, and I'm going to go chill and look at I need to get a bite of I'm tired, man. Hold tight.
All right, cool.
Listen, my man, back up. That's it. We rolled the windows down with. You got all information?
What happened? All right, man. All
right, bro. Appreciate you.
California, please.
Hey, 110.
George, 195.
You should park out the house. 110-60. I didn't say you. I just said it too. Remember, once upon a time, the city used to play the games. Even if you go ahead and write the charge the way it's written in the city code, if it didn't match their book, they want you to rewrite the ticket. So I went ahead. I was like this, like, no, but I always come over here and get that. That's the same thing they got at jail. So I went ahead and took a picture of their book that they went ahead and utilized. Yeah, send that to me, Charles. Yeah, I'll send it to you. But they used to park at night. I know that charge. I come over here.
I want to roll on a white Pathfinder, Jordan bag.
I never do a 5x1 always be in the car.
But again, like you said, she's the son, so that's
that's all he did. He should have parked over here. Yep, 110-60. That's it.
Good, man. We went on.
What did he do? Where did she go at? Hold tight. All right, enough of that. So, break it down, Ingram. What did you see in that scenario as a cop, and from your own experience being a cop, is this something that we're going to see more so going on in the future with the lack of respect for authority and law enforcement?
it's never going to stop. But the thing about it now is that everybody's cammed up. Everybody, almost any respectable police department has cameras. That camera has to be activated at least 60 to 30 seconds prior to the time they get to that incident, including video and mic. So what happens inevitably is that whatever action that you do, or even the cop does, because cops can get it too. We've seen it. It's being recorded completely. So what would happen inevitably is that anybody who acts out, who's defiant to the law, is going to end up getting just being tried. If you try to try it in the court of public opinion and you put that tape out, you're going to have no defense because you're going to be found guilty. Whatever complaint you file against the officer is going to be dismissed, and you're going to see a lot of people get exposed for acting up or acting like a fool, and you see the disrespect. You know, I mean, you're going to see the disrespect live. But as far as with people that have that mentality, you know, I don't think it's not getting any better, especially now. I mean, it's not getting any better in the community either.
Right.
The family situation is done. The marriage situation is done. To be honest with you, some of the women are even alphabet, bi, and they ain't even thinking about. I mean, you see maybe some situations where economics, they may want a man around for some money, but they're not trying to fall under no male leadership at all. So we have a complete disaster in terms of family and structure and discipline and everything else. It's just not getting any better. I don't think it's getting any better than that. It's just not happening. You know?
Right. What appalled you the most in that scenario with this woman on defiant order?
What appalled me the worst is the fact that dude had no control over her. The man that she was with was a complete simp. That's the first thing. The second thing that appalled me was that she did not respect any type of authority. She didn't respect any type of direction. She didn't respect anything from men, especially black men in that uniform. And she basically escalated and created a situation out of something that could have easily been resolved with the equivalent of a parking ticket. She basically created her own arrest. She talked herself into getting locked up.
Right.
By being defiant. What it shows is that what's even more disturbing is the woman that does not respond to authority, doesn't respect the law, doesn't respect any type of manhood or masculinity. That's really appalling. It's just disturbing, period. You know.
It is disturbing. And you know, it's just the brokenness that we see. And Ingram, you know about systems and how systems operate and how generations play a role as well. What have you taught your boys about how to deal with the modern woman and demanding respect in relationships? What have you taught your sons?
Well, what I taught them is this. First thing they got to understand is this. You can't protect what you can't control. That's the first thing. If a woman does not respect you or fall under your masculine leadership and she considers herself your woman, you're a ish creek, because you're going to be into a world of hurt. First of all, picking the right type of women can determine whether or not you succeed or fail in terms of a lot of situations in life. So the first thing they're taught is to avoid this type of woman. Avoid women that have this type of mentality, that are completely, these radicals, these feminists, these modern women types. They don't respect any type of masculinity or male leadership. That's the first thing I teach them, is how to pick women, how to properly vet women, how to avoid toxic, combative type women. We talk about that a lot and how that can destroy your life. And the other thing that we talk about is avoiding women on that same note that show sign of lack of that have no, first of all, that they have not been properly raised. If they don't have the right type of structure in terms of family. Because when you deal with her, you also deal with her family. And her family is an example of where she comes from and what it's like to deal with them. I mean, you can see her mother, you can see her father. Was there a man in the household? Did he properly did she grow up respecting men?
Right.
And if she grew up and she doesn't respect men, you got to have a bad deal on. I mean, people can be who they are and develop into who they are. But if you're picking a woman that has never been raised to respect men, you're going to end up with a hyena and you're going to have a problem. And, you know, nothing worse than a woman that disturbs your peace and you have no peace in a relationship or in the house, or she's, you know, off balance and running off the mouth and starting problems and believing chaos and creating problems in your life. You got to avoid these women at all costs. But it's very difficult for them because they're basically surrounded by a whole bunch of modern women, especially at their age. So to be honest with you, I'm hoping this passport thing works out for a lot of men. So they have opportunities to meet women from the. This is a cultural problem, Kosher.
It is, right. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse, sadly. And that's why when I hear pundits talk about, you know, saving the community and all this stupid stuff, they don't understand how systems work, man. How many generations do you think it'll take for it to get back right, man?
I don't think it's a I don't think in the West, I mean, a generation is about 20 years.
Right.
The problem is this. I think somebody said it before. I don't know whether it was Angry Man or one of the other people said it. Is that the most dysfunctional people in our culture make the most babies.
Right.
So we have, if we look at exponential growth of dysfunction, I can't see it getting better unless there's some type of apocalypse where you weed out people that are just completely dysfunctional. So what I see is what I see is going to happen. Not that it's going to get better, but I think there's just going to be a separation where respectable, honorable Black people are going to just create a new society. I mean, let's be honest with you. White people, there's a separation. There's the trailer parks, and then there's other people. You know what I mean? So I think we're just going to end up start looking at those people as trailer park people of the Black community. I mean, I'll be honest with you. And it's going to be a major separation, especially with the passport movement and men that are just, because a lot of Black men are checking out as it is, because we cannot deal with this type of woman that is government empowered, that doesn't respect masculinity, that is raised with that hyena structure, that hyena mentality, not to respond. I always say it, the male lion cannot lead hyenas.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. So what ends up happening is there's just going to be people just going to create. We already have our own societies on the internet. My channel is about men, male empowerment, actively advocating for men. We have a good time on my channel, the same way we have a good time over here.
Right.
So we've already started the separation. The hyenas still try to come into our channel anyhow and disrupt the peace. But we're just like, you know, it's over. The community, like what's Lord Love Smith said, I mean, I'm sorry to say it, the communitas lost. And I'm not into saving communitas. It's over. And Black people have got to learn to separate themselves from ninjas. There's really nothing you could do about it. And if you mess around, you might get deleted. Especially
No, you're correct, man, and that's why we had these conversations, guys. The link has been dropped. Not gonna be with you too much longer. I gotta go, but I'd love to hear from some of the women, and also from some the men that are calling in. I would love to hear from some of you guys. And what do you guys think about arrested development? Has the modern woman's development been arrested because of a lack of self-awareness? So the link has been dropped, guys. Call in, ask Ingram any question you want to ask him, being in law enforcement, and we can have a conversation, a brief conversation that might be. Shout out to my man, James Turner. I ain't seen my brother in a long time. He said, shout out to the damn duo. It's going to take at least 4 generations to begin to turn this around. and that's a deal, right?
Right.
And I
That's
appreciate
that's
gonna be hard, brother.
right. That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Right. Got 5 on it.
Go ahead.
It's gonna be hard. Here's why. It's gonna be hard because especially because the community, the Black community itself, is government empowered. So unlike a country that is not government empowered or anywhere else, there's a lot of perks that's provided to the modern woman through the welfare state. And it's hard to really get correction when there's no real hardship, when the welfare state comes in and bails women out or bails. It's really hard because in other cultures, they need their men, generational wealth, retirement, resources, because they can't just go down there to social service, or don't have this incentive program. So the difficulty with 4 generations is that you still have the same people that are dysfunctional breeding large amounts of kids.
Right.
And then we have a culture in the community where the tail wags the dog, and we promote a lot of dysfunctional people and dysfunctional behavior as the norm. And that is reinforced. When we see Cardi B is sitting down and talking to the future president of the United States, that's a reflection that wouldn't have happened 30, 40 years ago. It's a reflection of the culture and a complete cultural failure. And now, because of wokeism and all these different factors, it's really hard to correct that unless there's a complete separation, or we have an apocalyptic situation.
No, right.
Or a Ukrainian situation. I sound said that, but that's unfortunate. There's no hardship enough to correct that because we live in a rich country.
No, I totally agree. Brother Allen, how would you like to add to the conversation? Arrested development. You saw a display of what happened in Virginia today with the shooting, a 6-year-old shooting a teacher. You saw this young boy in Chicago disrespect authority because of arrested development. But then you saw a grown woman that acted like a grown toddler disrespect authority, and then also because of potentially arrested development as well. How would you like to add to the conversation and this whole malaise?
It's getting really sad.
Right.
Like I had to take a break from YouTube just to.
You're right. Same here. Me too. That's why I had to take a break. Yes, sir.
Arrested development, yes. And the brother, Peaceful Life, you're absolutely correct. There needs to be a separation.
Oh, yeah.
We have strived when we were segregated and separated versus once we integrated, that's when everything more or less fell apart. There is a clear line between productive Black men and women and these Negroes out here that are actively destroying everything that's out here.
Facts.
He was also correct in, you got white folks and you got trailer trash. And there's a separation there for a reason. You can't, prime example, the young brother with Quavo's nephew, a multimillionaire, gets shot at a dice game. Like, that's crazy. Like, how do you explain that? And everyone just shucks it off as just being normal. Like, this is not.
He got shot where? He got shot where?
At a dice game.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. Right. Take off. Right.
Like, there's nothing about our culture that fits into any social norm. It's just not right. And that the young lady that was arrested, I was waiting on somebody to do a video on that, because when I first saw it, it was crazy to me.
Right.
Like, how do you just disrespect the officer that's trying to help you? You're lucky it wasn't some redneck that pulled up that had a vendetta. No, it was a brother, and he was patient with her through the whole thing. Like, nah, come on, stop, please sign. Like, just sign the ticket. Sign the ticket. That's all you had to do.
Right.
Versus a European man would have just, So
he would have slammed her to the ground.
He took her down.
Go ahead.
He took her down very gently.
Very gently, right.
He took her down very gently.
Very gently. We both know. And remember when she tucked her hands like this? What are we trained to do with the tuck? You know, I'm not gonna. You know what? Should I even say it? With I tuck like this, there's techniques that we're trained to untuck. So never mind. and he didn't use any of that. He just tried to use physical strength because she was a sister, and he didn't want to aggressively look like he's being too aggressive with a woman. But if it was a dude that tuck like that, first of all, when you tuck like that, you expose a tremendous amount of your body because your hand is usually to block, and most officers know how to loosen that up, but it doesn't look too good. But anyhow, I'll leave it at that, brother. Go ahead.
Well, what appalled you the most, Brother Allen, about the whole scenario, man? What made you shake your head about the lack of the increase of lawlessness and the lack of respect for authority?
Just the revelation that it's a sign of the times, and it is what it is. That's not an isolated incident. This is how they act.
That's how they.
I saw a video of a 40-something-year-old, maybe 50-something-year-old. Somebody's grandma was getting arrested. She started twerking. Like, how do you? Nah. Like, what? You somebody grandma getting arrested twerking, telling the cop you're gonna get fired. They don't have any respect for men in their positions, laws, nothing, because they've been allowed to get away with so much for so long.
Right. Been allowed to get away with so much, right?
It's just pretty much I can't even say I'm appalled at this point. It's just what they do.
Right.
It's sad, but it's what they do.
Hope said that the 2010 Georgia Code Title 40 Motor Vehicle and Traffic Chapter Prosecution of Travel of Offense Travel Citation Form. Signature on citations are required. So did you know that, English? She got a thank you, Hope. What's your take on that, English?
Well, it basically saying that you're required to sign the document, or you could be taken forthwith. So, you know, he had the discretion to arrest her. And you know, the problem is that she talked herself into the lockup. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have an option, you know. And just like with some states with these applied consent laws, it's just to have a driver's license. I mean, there's certain requirements that you have. And, you know, ignorance of the law is not a defense. You're supposed to know the laws in the state that you live in. And especially with, and the problem is that this didn't have to escalate to that point. But because they're so disrespectful and they have no respect. Look, any woman that, for instance, even with the internet, even with these YouTube channels, for a woman to come into our space and get into a straight up argument debate with us with self is unnatural, because I'm like, where's your husband? Where's your boyfriend? Where's your man?
Right.
Why are you challenging grown men on the internet? And that's just it within itself. It's a culture out of order and out of structure. And I get into argument with them. I'll say, well, you're not proving any point to me, because even to this point, I'm planning to go private on YouTube as much as possible, members only. I just started that today.
Right.
And I have members sign up, and then be men and we're just going to box everybody out. Box out these hyenas, box out these simps and white knights, and reduce the amount of stress, because you go back and forth arguing with these people, not to mention his name, RIP, but you might do a Kevin Samuels on YouTube and leave this world early, because it's no breakthrough. Everything you say, they have a rebuttal. If there's no breakthrough, they're not even listening to you. They're listening to talk.
Right.
They don't care what you say. So even with these modern women, you can't debate these modern women, because even if they agree with you for that particular moment, they go back to a coalition. The coalition is going to reprogram them again to be who they already are anyhow. So it's a waste of time.
Yeah, it is a waste of time. Brother Hassan, how would you like to add to the conversation in this situation about arrested development of not only our children, but the arrested development of some of the modern women, but also the arrested development of this simp that allows this woman to disrespect this cop? Go ahead.
Well,
you know, I've seen that video you guys are talking about before. When I first saw it, I remember some words my father told me. And years ago, he talked about how he's so happy to have my mom in his life, and he loves your mother. But he said, son, I don't know about you, but these black women are finished.
Right.
And he told me that I was 12. I was like, what you mean, Pop? He said, you'll see. As soon as I start getting older, I start catching, you know, parts of it. But the deeper thing of that, you saw how that lady was reacting when the cop just tried to have us say, hey, listen, can you like just show, give me, just basically comply. She went out of her way to make sure she didn't comply. She's trying to fight the cop. Now, my question comes up is, what if that been a white cop? Would she have complied faster?
Right.
Or would she do the same thing to that brother because he's a black cop? That's my only thing.
Right, and they were brothers. They all were brothers, man. The guy told her either you sign, right.
And that's my point. And then when that simping enforcer tried to step to that cop, he almost got hemmed up for his trouble. Trying to protect that overbearing, disrespectful, out of pocket, woman. And trust me, all these ladies are doing is forcing a whole lot of men, not just black men, all men, to get their passports and go everywhere else.
Right.
But the United States. This ain't no accident, man.
No, it ain't no accident. Right, it ain't no accident. And like I said, man, men are getting frustrated, man. That goes back to needs driving behaviors. If men are not getting their needs met, they're going to get it from elsewhere, and you begin to see it manifest full circle.
Yeah, that's just like they're not even upset no more. They're just going this. That's how you feel? Okay, they just take off now. They just take off. I mean, you can go to TikTok right now, and all these ladies of all races are complaining about, oh, well, we don't want you here anyway. And then you wonder why they're leaving in droves. How's that working out for you? How's that working out? I mean, that would be tricks. That would be psychology. You tricking yourself out of the men you claim you don't want.
Right.
So they can find the woman that they need. I'm seeing this unfold. I'm going like this. Well, I can't blame them for leaving. I can't even get mad at it. Right. You can't get mad at it. And what's the sick part about it is, feminism has lied to women, black women in particular. People forgot that feminism was a white woman's problem,
right?
Not a black woman's problem. And feminism got these ladies so gassed up, they think they can say and do anything, and nobody gonna check them. And be honestly, who's gonna check them? Shahrazad Ali tried to, and you saw what happened to her.
Right. And it's very draining, man. Like I worked in law enforcement. I was a mental health correction officer in 7 years Department of Juvenile Justice. I taught school, and that's why I showed the thing with this young boy checking this teacher out. I'm gonna go back and play that clip again, guys. That I had from the beginning. Brother Hassan, I don't think you saw it when you came in, but I'm gonna go play it again. Hold tight.
Okay.
And we have some breaking news out of Virginia, where police say a 6-year-old is in custody after a shooting at an elementary school in Newport News. You heard that right. He's 6 years old. Authorities say a first grader shot their teacher and that they believe the shooting was intentional. The teacher is expected to survive and no children were hurt. Police are now working to figure out how that child got that gun.
Knock your big ass out. I'm a bitch, boy. Stop.
The main diagnoses.
And what's your badge number?
7452.
And what's your name?
Officer Brooks.
What's your first name?
I'm not going to give you my first name.
Okay, and I don't have to sign this, right?
You do have to sign it.
No, I don't.
Arrested development, dysfunction, lawlessness, and the lack of respect for authority is happening at an all-time high. What did you see from that clip, Brother Hassan, that reinforced what your father told you more or less?
When that lady walked up to that cop, the first part, when he had that lady try to block that young man who seemed committed to stupidity, that lets me know he wasn't raised by a father and a mother. He was raised by a single mom. Because all these young men nowadays, they're taught to react instead of act with common sense. That's what they're taught to do. And that's what that lady, the guy, she walked up to the cop, talk about, well, what's your name again? Officer so-and-so. Can I have your first name? He said, I'm not giving you first name. Can you sign paper? Well, I'm not signing no paper. That's what, the minute she said, I'm not doing anything, listen, she forgot she was black. And when she started getting hemmed up, That's what she had a nigga wake up call to. Well, oh my God. Oh, now you bringing God into it? You ain't got no room, make some room. Who you mad at now? Oh, we're going to jail. Well, why am I going to jail? You know why you going to jail. Stop playing.
Right.
If I'd been a white cop, would she do all that? What's your name, Officer Daniels?
Right.
What are you going to do when you sign this paper? Okay, yes, sir, I'll sign it. Black dude, all types of problem.
She probably told the white cop he was racist. I don't know. I've seen these black women challenge these white cops too and call them racist, man.
Well, I know what you speak. Actually, they had a I think a Spanish cop arrested a black lady because she was kind of drunk and disorderly. She tried to accuse him of being sexually making sexual advances at her. His body cam revealed the truth. She was lit for no reason. So about she gonna get a lawsuit on this dude. Turns out she was lying.
Right.
If he didn't have that body camera, he could have been out of a job.
Right, and they don't care. They're very infantile in thought. They don't respect authority. They mess your livelihood up. Ingram was a cop for 21 years. I worked as a teacher for 5 years. Did about 13 years altogether, and it's so damn near bad, man. You can't even do your job, man. Imagine trying to teach a child in a chaotic environment. Oof. You can't do it. Teachers are quitting left and right, man, because they don't want to deal with the headache.
Can you blame them? I can't blame them.
I can't blame them, man.
So about Mrs. Johnson, I'm trying to help your son out. And then she cursed the teacher out, get rid about the teacher. Meanwhile, that teacher's son.
I think
it made no sense. And it's not that we don't know better. We just don't want to do better.
Don't want to do better, right? Do you have kids, brother Hassan?
I'm sorry, so what?
Do you have kids? Do you have children?
No, man. I'm a bachelor, sir.
You're a bachelor.
Yes, sir.
Right. So would you? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to go to jail for killing my kid. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna be wrong. These kids out here are out of control. Back in the day, when your mother told you to go outside and play, you went outside and played. When you come in, when it gets dark. Nowadays, you got these kids talking reckless to grown people as if they're gonna do something to them, man.
Right.
But I feel bad for our brothers though, for our younger brothers, because they get stuck with these women who's trying to prove a point against the dad because they're not dealing with each other anymore. That's the ones. That's the people I'm worried about. Because everything we look at it, even look at TV, everything is a gynocentric situation. The commercials, the men are dumb and the women are brilliant. Every commercial, every movie, every commercial, the men are dumb, they're slow, and the women are awesome because they're awesome. No training, no understanding, no nothing. They're just awesome.
Right. You know, a Peaceful Life said, he thinks some cataclysmic could change the trajectory of what we're seeing now. What's your take on that?
Well, I know how things changed when the pandemic hit. A lot of ladies were moving different when the pandemic hit, when they couldn't go nowhere. I know that. A lot of ladies started seeing for the first time that, hey, maybe this strong and independent stuff is open in my face, kind of like Taraji P. Henson wrote a little episode on Angie Martinez's podcast. And both of those ladies are very, are famous and they got power, but they spent most of their lives doing what they want to do, being strong and independent. Now they got nobody to come home to. They got nobody that's going to be with them in their golden years, man. I feel bad for them, but this is what they wanted.
Yeah, this is what they wanted. Shout out to my man, Dr. Thunder. Shout out to that brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. And we see so many kids, man. I'm from the class of '90. I just haven't seen the world this bad, man, in a long time, man. It seems like it's getting worse and worse and more bizarre, man. And the more rational you are, the more bizarre they are, which is weird.
Oh yeah.
The more rational you are, the more bizarre that they are. Anybody else want to add anything else, man? Any guys want to add anything else about this Arrested Development and this whole fiasco that happened in Virginia? Now, Brother Allen, you're from Virginia. What did you think about this this situation that happened in Virginia? What did you think about it?
It's just normal behavior. Like, that's how I'm taking it at this juncture.
Right.
Straight up, like this is how they are. So I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. That's why I said I'm not appalled by what I see. It's just how they are. That's why Brother Peaceful Life, when he said, "Okay, separation," I'm in total agreement. You will see a separation of them and us. and just keep it like that. Because like the only crazy part to me was the fact it was caught on video and the brother showed as much restraint as he did. That's it. But I'm outside maybe a little bit more, and I travel. So with that being said, I get to see a lot more of effery than a lot of people do. Because my job takes me all over. But it's just normal behavior. They feel entitled.
Feel entitled, right. And the narcissistic traits, man, is appalling, man. You know, I remember a time that women had a level of shame for bad behavior, and they didn't have the level of expectations that they have now. But you got chicks that got a lot of baggage. You know, you got these simps that don't hold themselves accountable or the women accountable, and they're trying to shame masculine men for doing masculine things, man. And it's just unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate, man. And that's why, you know, I tell guys to focus on themselves. To the single men that don't have wives, you know, if you can't find a wife here, and I know it's hard to find, get your passport, man, and travel abroad, man. Brother Hassan, are you part of the passport movement?
Nope, I'm currently working on it, and like yourself, clinician, I'm like the class of '85. So.
Oh, class 85. Okay, cool. Wow.
I saw this when they had Gwen Guthrie saying "Bill collectors at my door." Remember that song? I'm like, what the? I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, nothing
going
on.
The video, I thought she was gonna be like, you know, bad from head to toe. I said the video, so wait. She a fat chick doing this? She chunky? She's taking all this smack like what? Like that don't make. Wait a minute. No. That's not it. That's not how we do business, sir. That's not it.
They're great for entertainment, man. All we do now is when we come to these modern women, all we do now is entertain ourselves with them. Even on my channel, we have fun. The guys get together. We have a damn good time because you can't take them serious. They're completely left. They're floating in a cloud in the sky. That's how bad the delusion is. They're completely out of touch with reality. So all we do is have fun. We clown. We have a good time. We play videos from Kendra G sometime, and that's all you can do, man. Because it's really.
Kendra G. Oh my Lord. You see the women on her show, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like we have a great time with those women, man. Those are some of the best. You can't take these women serious.
That is one girl who was a big sister was cross-eyed talking about she wanted a high value man making 200,000. I'm like, wait, you got a lazy eye. You can't ask for that. You're not even in shape. You can't ask for that. You can't.
You know what, brother? When we were in school, man, you know, chicks like that were very humble, man. But these damn simps, these simps that made these chicks think they better. Well,
man.
Back in the day, we knew. Back in the day, when I was in high school, we all was in school. We knew what girls we can approach a certain way, and the hot girls, we knew we had to come at them with something else other than just our gift of gab.
Right.
Flowers and maybe take you to lunch with my little lunch ticket. Give you, you know what I mean? Nowadays, you got girls who's not even that hot, thinking they hot. They're supposed to 49ers, man. They're supposed to think that they nines, man. That ain't right. That ain't right. Like, wait. And you see these girls get up on Kendra's show. So let me see it. Let me get the Kendra cam. They stand up proudly, spinning around. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Talk about she want a high value man. Meanwhile, she got kids from 3 different dudes. Come on, man. No, you can't ask for that. You can't. That's like me coming up to you with my Cheetos dust. I'm 500 pounds. So I want a supermodel, bro. You 500 pounds.
Right, and I think guys,
500 pounds, bro. You gotta go to the gym, my guy. That's not gonna work.
Right,
I think looking for you.
I think guys are more, in general, are more cognizant of what they got to do. But the lack of self-awareness, man, is a part. Let me read this super chat by Top Gun. Top Gun said, "I remember you did a show about women therapists, a woman therapist that once. I remember you did a show about women therapists." Once that chick went viral and got fired, it triggered a guy or two in the chat. Would you advocate for men to take their sons to women seeing this? Well, I want to advocate to a therapist like that woman. That woman is obviously crazy, man. She don't have no respect for masculinity. So I definitely will advocate for my son to go see a therapist of that ilk. Shabri Rawls, we're talking about. She definitely emasculates, man. She definitely likes self-awareness. And I would argue that she has some unresolved mental illness herself. So on that note,
That's bad, right? That's a feel, right?
Anybody go to a woman,
right? That's a feel, right? That's a feel, right?
It's very dysfunctional
Ronnie.
and very toxic to say the least. Brother Hassan, when you saw that situation that happened in Virginia, what did you think about, man? When you heard about it, what did you think?
I'm so used to see that happen. I don't even get upset about it no more, man.
Right.
I back this up. Just another day in the city. I mean, if you blink your eyes, it could be the Bronx. It could be New York. Blink your eyes, could be in Chicago. Blink your eyes, could be in Philadelphia. This is not a new situation, man. It's not new. It's one of them things. I'm like, maybe I'm getting too jaded because now I see like this. Oh, the victim is black. Okay, he's a young man. Okay, he's in jail for the next 25 years. Oh, okay, he's dead at the scene. That's what either he's dead at the scene or he's in jail or about to get sentenced.
Right. I think it's desensitized us, man.
Yeah, and then it's like I mean, when I was coming, my father used to say we gotta, when it comes to us, our people to care about our people, but he started to realize that our people no longer, our own women don't care about us, man, and that's hurtful for me to say that. Don't get me wrong, I didn't run but black ladies for a long time. For a long time, we love black women, but the way they talk about us now on TikTok and Instagram and everywhere else, half these girls nowadays, if you have your sons coming up behind yourself or myself, they got to deal with women who could be OnlyFans girls or Insta thoughts or TikTok dancing chicks. And meanwhile, they say they want masculine men, but when they have a man who actually masculine, they want to fight against that man's natural way of being. And it causes problems. It causes problems. You should have to listen. Men got to fight, not just black men. All men got to fight to go to work, fight to pay their bills, fight to handle themselves, fight themselves to control their essence as human beings, to just go to work and get the job done, and then go home and fight with your girl. That's too much fighting, bro.
That's too much fighting, right?
That's too much fighting, man. By the time he wants to come home decompress, now you got to get into an argument about something he did 2 weeks ago that you didn't even remember. And he's sitting there going like this. Well, wait a minute, why you mad again?
Right.
Because I was doing what? Because you like my homegirl's picture. You told me to like your homegirl's picture. Why you mad at me now? I ain't look at that. Okay, fine. But by the same token, and these ladies are not slowing down because of the passport movement. They're picking up steam. And they're like literally went from screaming and yelling to throwing sticks to throwing tree kindling to now they just throwing like loose change hoping to hit somebody. That's just what it is. They want to, you know what? Your passport boys, they don't want you. They're just gonna go for sex tourism. No, we're not. They don't want you. You're just trying to pick up some hookers. No, they're not.
It's shaming language and it's ignorant. It's ignorance and shaming language. My 2 cents said, and a baby mama used to appreciate you for coming in to help the situation. You will feel the appreciation back then. Let's talk about it. So we took class at 85, 90. Talk to the young heads, man, about how women were back in the 80s, man, compared to now.
Ooh, Lord,
and the awareness they had. Go ahead, dog.
Well, back in the day, you talk to a young lady, you'd be like, excuse me, miss. Ask her name, say my name is Hassan, blah, 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 see where it goes. If you wasn't interested, you thanked her kindly and you wish her have a nice day and kept it pushing. If you want to stay with her and talk to you a minute, you talk, you build, and you exchange phone numbers back in the day. Back in the day, you know how you had your mama's phone. She didn't want you on the phone for 5 minutes because she's going to mess up her bill. So we got to wait to call around 8, 9, talk real low, like, oh, look, I got to hang my mom in the house, I got to go buy a clip. Whereas now, you can't talk to them. You could try, but these women out here, they got this belief that they don't need a man. But meanwhile, men has built the world which we live in, made the buildings, the AC, the roofs of your houses where you stay at, the phones you hold in your hand, the computer you're looking at with the screen to talk to see or talk to people you care about. And they act like if there was no such thing as men, they can keep it running. And we all know in this call, and I'm not being sexist, they can't.
No, they can't. No, it's just a fact. It got nothing to do with sexism. It's just a fact.
Exactly.
And you know, most men realize they need men. We realize that we need men for certain things. Certain things as a man I can't do. So men realize they need men, right?
But like I said, I think men and women are better together. But the problem is, we ain't the ones. Even Kevin Samuel saw it toward the end of his life. We weren't the problem. People forget, before he started talking to ladies, he was talking to men for 3 years.
Right.
Hearing stories from people like yourself and the other gentleman on this panel saying, hey, look, man, I'm trying to get with my wife, man, but she just gave me problems. I'm
Right.
trying to pay the bills, but it's not enough. Now she wants me to have 6 figures, but meanwhile, I've been a plumber for like 15, 20 years. You know? Now she wants to go to matching parties and drop it like it's hot and go to and just go and be an Instagram model. But meanwhile, she's like 180, going on 200 pounds. Talk about she gonna leave me for a younger guy, and now she's bringing this younger guy around our kids. About, you know what I mean? No, men don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
Men
yeah,
don't
yeah.
deal with that.
You know the biggest thing right now for us, even as single brothers and Generation Xers on the secondary relationship and dating market. I call it the secondary market because things get very, very, very dark on this side of the fence because everybody's got that mileage on them now.
Yeah.
Well, not for the fellas, but what the biggest thing that distinguishes them, back in the 80s and the 90s, there was a separation between respectable, honorable women, or women that you would want, and chicken heads. We call them chicken heads back then.
Right.
The problem is that we got too many of these birds running around behaving like it's like the attack or the rise of the chicken heads. Like I remember back then, chicken head would not even talk to you about a relationship. She was like a pound and move type chick.
Exactly. And she knew what she was there for. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, since social media has ruined the game, and we've had some of the most low quality chicken head women. Like even when I talk to them, I'm back, back in the day playing basketball, college ball, and all that other stuff.
Right.
And just growing up back in the day, chicken heads would not be talking to no dude goofy like that. They were happy if you talk to them. But now you have chicken heads on social media. You got chicken heads running their mouth, chicken heads in my chat. I'm like, what is this? You're a chicken head. Get out of here. You're like, I'm just not like respectable women. So you can have women with extremely high bodies on them, chicken head mentality, approaching you today, talking about being wives and being in a serious relationship, or people that are rebranders, the rebranders that you see, women that have ran their course with the 304 behavior. Now they're talking, well, I'm looking for a serious man, a serious relationship, or whatever else. And they're trying to charge you the high price of marriage and relationship. Now, I mean, it is so disrespectful now because those women have been pounded out.
Oh, absolutely.
In the alleyways, in the hallways, at the clubs.
Yes, sir.
Like,
and the stairs of the gym.
These women.
You know what it is. Yeah.
That's why it's dead in the West. You got this. I just see a bunch of chickens flying around me. That's all. I'll be honest with you. I find it very, very, very. I find it very offensive.
Can I add something?
Go ahead, brother.
Well, like for me, I'm 40, so I'm a little bit younger than you. I was born in like 82.
Okay.
And because there was no distinguishing the chicken head from the average chick, that's part of the reason why my generation and the ones after me were indifferent at this point.
Right.
You don't want to be that guy that finds out your girl was that chick that was being pounded viciously and vigorously by everybody. It was kept secret from you.
Lord.
You don't want to be that dude. That's why this era.
I have been that dude. That's why I have been that dude. I have been that dude. I'm not judging you, bro. I have been that dude. My brother pulled my coat. Hey, yo, man, how's you feeling? What happened? Yo, remember so and so? Yo, bro. The basketball team was running a channel on the back steps in school. I'm like, say what? Bro, I had to drop her off. Sorry. I feel what you're saying. I have been that dude. I'm going like, but she, and I would say to her, but she treated me so nice. She said I was the guy. No, I wasn't. I was just my turn, bro. This is what it was. And my brothers had to pull me aside. Hey, yo, son, man, you making us look bad, man. What you doing, bro? Hollering that goddamn chicken head for what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, like it's crazy.
That's what caused my brothers to just get at me and say, yo, we taught you better than this. You can't be doing that, bro. You fucking up the game.
Right.
You start taking these chicken heads, they're going to try to force others to take them chicken heads. Matter of fact, they even had Sherry Shepherd telling single men to look after single mothers' kids. I'm like, yo, you're bugging. I'm not doing none of that.
Yes, sir. It was an
I'm
insult,
not
man.
doing none of that.
It was an insult.
But coach,
Well,
that's so
it's on
disrespectful, man.
Steve Harvey show. Sherry Shepherd. Half these ladies, man, and you know, and I feel what your brothers are saying. What you're saying is absolutely 100% correct. Back in the day, when I was coming up, I was taught from my father and my brothers to recognize a good girl from a chickenhead / hoe. If she a chickenhead, she's there to do one thing: bouncy, bouncy, and you send her packing. My dad said they gotta be like vampires. They gotta be out. They ask to be out before sunrise. Yeah, they don't interact with you in the street. You don't go with them in the street. They don't talk to your people. You don't talk to their people. It is what it is.
Yeah, but the chicken head.
Exactly.
The chicken head would come and talk to you. Like, where's this relationship going? Like,
I just man, listen. So where you going? Nowhere. You know what this is? You know what I am. I'm meeting you at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not there to build with you. I see you at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We're not building. What are we building? We're not building no freaking. We're not building no Lego bricks or no erector set. We're not building nothing. I'm seeing you at 3 in the morning.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem, though.
Nothing. What?
The women here today, they all act like that, and they all want you to build with them like that. But the whole time, you just a jump off, shorty.
That's what it is.
You a jump off.
I forgot to tell a girl, so why do you gotta tell them jump off? That means I jump on top of you, and when I'm done, I jump the fuck off and go home. I don't stay here. I don't wake up with you the next morning. I leave that same night. I'm not spending nothing here. I'm not leaving my clothes, no toothbrush, no hat, no nothing. I'm like a ninja. I'm done. I'm leaving the cover of darkness, never to be seen or heard from again, bro. That's what I am doing. Harsh, probably, but come on. I mean, the dating market is so skewed because back in the day, before Instagram, to my brother who was born in '82, we had to worry about the guy from down the street. Now the guys, these young men, the millennial men, they got to worry about men from across the world in their DMs hollering at them.
Right.
Hey, I got a match party. Hey, I got a ticket for you. Take an airline flight. Hey, I got this. Hey, I got that. And if you got a lot of guys hitting you like that, you're a young lady. How could you not get conceited? How could you not get entitled? Man. How could you not? You got 100 different guys, shape, size, creed, and colors. Oh, I got to. Oh, you need to come to my match party in Miami. I got a ticket for you. And these girls just get on a plane. No return ticket. No return trip ticket. It's gonna go on a plane. Like for real.
Let me ask you guys a question real quick, and I'm gonna end the stream. And thank you guys for tuning in. But you know, Solomon Hassan, when you think about self-awareness, how were women more aware years ago compared to now? Because you're right, years ago, women knew that they got men, women that were, you know, very derelict, you know, they understood that they weren't gonna get men. But you got women now that got kids by multiple men, very promiscuous, and they think they deserve a quality man. And then when you try to tell them what we don't want, it's weird. Like they can call men dusty, broke, small penis, and guys eat it. But when we have these conversations, folks get in their feelings. How was self-awareness different then now than now, in your opinion?
Well, self-awareness between men and women were different because you had both men and women had their parents in the house.
Right.
They had the mom teaching them how to dress, and they had the dad teaching them how to behave in the streets because he used to break it down from listen, son, you represent me in the street. You can't be doing certain things. If it's a girl, she should get a doubly tough. They should be told, look, sweetheart, you can't be moving like a hoe. Oh, like this. You know that girl Jackie? Yeah, don't hang with her no more. She fast. When she fast, Daddy, she like doing stuff that a 12, 13 should not be doing. Back in the day, you know, these ladies used to move different, but unfortunately, a lot of these ladies are standing next to these modern women. And a lot of these women, unfortunately, behave like hoes / OnlyFans models. And they think, and they say OnlyFans probably like it's an actual job. It's not a job, bro. It's not even a career. It's not even a career. Oh, I'm on OnlyFans. When I hear that, I go like, oh God, I gotta leave you alone. But why? I was like, you 10 steps from being a porn star. That's what it is. And they say, oh, I want to get a high quality man, sweetheart. Mia Cleave is another one. She talks about how she was married and her husband left her because he couldn't take that heat. And a lot of people don't understand that most men, I don't care what color that man is, his stomach is going to turn when he finds out his girl is a 304. He's going to be like, yo, she's
not wired to accept it. Right, not wired to accept it. Not wired to accept it, man. Right. And
you got Amber Rose with her foolishness trying to argue with a rapper, talk about, oh, let her make her money. No. She want to be a wife. You can't be a wife you can't say you're a queen by doing hoe activity, my father used to say.
Right.
Once you qualify yourself as a hoe, she can never become a queen. She has lost her crown and her place in the world. That's what it is. Right. And she read it to the streets. I'm sorry, but
it's true, man. It's true. It's true. And it's unfortunate at the same time. Brother Al, before we end the stream, anything you like to add, man, before we end? About to end it.
I don't think it's a lack of self-awareness. I think it's more so a thing where they just don't have to be aware because there's a system in place that takes care of them either way.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Excellent point.
So if you don't have to be aware of what's around the corner because there's something there to protect you, then of course you're going to, I'll put in the effort to even be that way. But I want it there.
I agree. Brother Ingram, anything else before we end the stream, brother, you like to add real quick?
I mean, just basically to tell the brothers, never lower your standards. Never lower your standards. I don't care if you have to jump on a plane and go to the East Africa to find yourself a quality woman. Because the moment you lower your standards and put one of these demonic spirits in your home or get in a relationship with one of these demonic spirits, you will suffer a life of misery and hell. And also make sure you guys support men's content. I run a channel. I'm going private. I'm going to try and do that. Put that subscriber only, membership only mode on so that brothers can come on my channel, fellowship with other brothers in peace because it's over. No point in getting, we just going to box these hyenas out, box these white knight sims out, get rid of that toxic energy and negative comments. Because when I do a stream with the brothers, I want the brothers to leave out of the stream like how we leaving out of this stream right now. Enriched, mentally focused, going to bed with a smile on their face, not listening to these toxic hyenas because they're gone, they're hopeless. These simps are hopeless. You might as well protect your sanity. It didn't help Kevin Samuels fighting with these women. He passed away early. God rest his soul. So we ain't going to do that no more. That's over. Only time we bring up modern women is to enjoy them for entertaining purposes. Go ahead, brother. That's all I have to say.
Well, listen, guys, it's been another good one, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys showed up on tonight. Go check out my man, Peaceful Life. Got a good channel doing some good things over there. Go check that brother out. And guys, yeah, I had to get away from YouTube for a while, man. It was stressful. It's draining. And, you can't beat the machine because anytime you have male-centered content, talk about male and problems. Say it again.
Let me make sure I get my like up here, man. What am I doing? I'm slipping. Get my.
Oh, yeah. And actually, guys, before we end, guys, the robot just texted me. He said, listen, Coach, go tell them Negroes to get them likes up. So, guys, I'll get the likes up. Go
hit that like button. Go ahead. Do it now before I reach out into that screen and twist your hand like Aunt Esther. Hit the like button. Thank you.
Destroy. All right, guys, go destroy it. And it's been a good show, guys. Ingram, you did an awesome job breaking down law enforcement, talking about arrested development, talking about the modern woman. The more things change, the more they remain the same. And sadly, the incident that happened today in Virginia is a reminder of the chaos in a world that appears to be getting more and more bizarre. Men are checking out. Men are getting passports. Men are beginning to live their lives on their own terms. And men are beginning to see the dysfunction for what it is. I don't even take it personal no more. The opposite of hate is indifference. And I become very indifferent now. I don't even care because I realize if you do care, you will burn yourself out. And you will send yourself to an early grave. So, guys, we're going to sign off. Guys, get you some rest. I'm going to go look at some football tonight. Give me something to eat. And Brother Allen, thank you for tuning in, man. And Ingram, anything else you would like to add, man? You good? Anything else you want to add to the conversation?
No, I'm good, man. I think the brothers pretty much understand. You got to just box people out nowadays, and we have enough spaces on the internet to support men. So support men's content, and try and box out the negativity, man. Because let me tell you, that stress is no good. No point in going somewhere and watching men and women fight on panels and getting your blood pressure all up and getting worked up and reading these comments from these hyenas and all that stuff, getting your blood pressure all up. You're wasting your time. So make sure you guys are taking care of your health and protecting your peace.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, guys, about to sign off. I'm going to drop you guys down. Brother Hassan, thank you for tuning in. Been a minute. Be well. All right, Brother Allen, hold it down, man. All right, guys, I told you there's 7 steps that a man must go through in order to be optimized. And one of those 7 steps is understanding female nature and female psychology in the current world that we live in. So, guys, we're about to sign off. And don't forget to get that fire for your mind.
Fire for your mind. Culture, clinician.
Arrested development appears to be an all-time high. Are you being responded to it? Basically, arrested development is showing the black community.